All right, here we go. Episode 30. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. How about you, man?
Pretty good. Pretty good. So, Reuben, tell the audience a little bit about your project you're working on.
Well, Demonship, that has been in the works for about 2 years now, I would say. I got to sit down with David Ludlow, Austin Parker Jones out of LA, and Shay Moore. And between the three of those dudes, they coached the hell out of me for 2 years, and we made 8 songs, and that's where we're at right now.
So is it a 4-piece group then?
No, this is actually, I'm the only member.
Okay.
So I have a couple hired musicians that are going to be performing with me live.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I could just share their names. Shay Moore will be playing guitar with me. Max Fales will also be playing guitar with me. I don't have a bassist currently right now. And my drummer will be Jacob Coleman. So very excited to have those dudes join me, and we're going to shred it up. I'm stoked. Yeah.
What are your first plans? You playing live soon?
I don't have any shows immediately planned right now, but I literally have a plan in store. So how I want to go about this is my first show in Phoenix will actually be my third show. My first show will be in LA. I'm working on setting up a few contacts still. I have a couple bands that are really interested, and I have a couple venues. And then my next show will be in Vegas, show 2, and then I want to finish it off with the home show in Phoenix. So my very first show will be not even in my hometown, but
nice.
Yeah, well, it'd be cool.
I mean, getting out of town first, that's like not a bad first step though.
Oh no,
you get to have eyes from like other places on you like right away.
Yeah, absolutely. I've noticed from like my demographics from Spotify and just generally like folks that have reached out to me. There's quite a bit of folks in LA that really enjoy the music. And since Austin's out there as well, he'd be really stoked to showcase, his band that he's been working on, for some time. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you're going to LA and then where? And then Phoenix?
LA first stop.
Yeah.
And then my second plan is, I want to do a show in Vegas.
Oh, in Vegas.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
That's what you said.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, have you played in those places before?
I played in Vegas before. I'm also in a couple other bands. Currently I'm a professional drummer and hired drummer for Terror Blood. Super awesome local band here in Phoenix, Arizona. We did
what are they called?
Terror Blood.
Terror Blood?
Yes, Terror Blood.
I'll have to look them up.
It's like goth, punk, metal. Avi is the lead singer. Max is the guitarist. There's also Garrett Galena. I think I said his last name wrong. I'm sorry, Garrett, if I messed it up. Garrett is also the guitarist. The bassist is Sean. Oh my God, I forgot Sean's last name. All my homies, I'm forgetting their last name. And then Chris, which is also a synth player, and he like plays synth with his guitar. It's a wild trip. It's cool, a really trippy live show.
What is it? What kind of music is it then?
It's goth, punk, metal. It's like a fusion of all of that. And we actually have a show on June 24th. We'll be playing at Sad Dad Fest.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. So, I'm going.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
cool.
I'll be there.
Yeah. Well, then I'll see you there as well.
I'm going to take a bunch of videos.
Sick.
To get like a highlight reel or anything or something like that.
What's really cool about our setup too is we'd probably be the only band like this, but I actually play like electric kit with them, and I do like an acoustic snare. So you have like that organic, really hard crack snare that like you can really just bite onto and cuts through the mix. But with like full samples of everything else, it is so much fun. We did that first setup in Vegas for our show. We had a mini tour. It was like a weekend tour. We did a Phoenix and in Vegas show back to back, and it was the coolest, best show I've ever played in my life. I loved it.
Yeah. What were the other bands there? Do you remember?
Oh man, I don't remember who else played.
Were they similar to you, or were they just,
no?
You just wildly different than everybody else?
They were pretty wildly different.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I think a lot of bands that we play with is pretty wildly different because it's like the goth punk, and then we try to, it's pretty heavy too, but there's a lot of goth punk in it, so it's hard to like get like a band that kind of just like fits the bill right away. But that's why, I mean, it makes it also easy to fit in with other metal bands, So
yeah, that's true. I mean, heavy is heavy. You can kind of put it together, and as long as like the tone of the music is similar, like, or the intensity, I should say, as long as the intensity is pretty close to the same, like you can put bands together. But
we definitely keep it a drivey set, to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a problem with the band I was working with. I was working with Arcanaut for a while.
Okay.
And they're just so fucking heavy and loud and just like, in your face, like always at 110 volume, like you know what I mean? So it's like
I love
just,
that.
Yeah, super fast, super loud, just all intense, you know. And yeah, that band was hard to like find other bands to go with. There was like, you know, 5 bands that are close to the intensity as them in the local scene.
Yeah, understood.
So every bill you're on with the same dudes every single time. It's like, God damn it.
I totally get that. That part is a little bit hard, but that also gives an opportunity for you to make, you know, a relationship with like a band that's in another state or another city, you know, pretty close by.
Yeah.
And get them out. Like even if they don't headline, and if you headline, or you know, vice versa, you find somebody that headlines. That's what I found. Like back in the day, I played for a punk metal band called Tag You're It. We were pretty popular. I think that was like 2000s to maybe like 2012. We were at it for a bit. But with that said, we had a hard time finding, you know, folks to play with because there was only so many metal bands and you know, in the valley. And so we'd worked with like Ice Nine Kills before they were even like huge. They came out. We set up a show with them. Josh, or my guitarist at the time, knew Spencer. So he got him to come out. We did a show. I'm pretty sure we headlined that one. Maybe not, or second to headline. And Ice Nine Kills was like one of the first bands playing. Still trippy because like they're phenomenally huge now.
Everyone's heard that name by now. Like,
they're good dudes. You know, it's a funny story about that. That show that they came out, the drummer and I, we'd never met each other. And I was walking out loading my drum set. He was like loading I was loading my drum set in. He was walking his out. And I stopped. We both looked at each other. We both had exactly the same shorts and exactly the same bright blue Chiodo shirt on. And we're like, hey, you know. I'll never forget that. Yeah.
That's funny. So, is that the only band you've been around with?
So I did. I played with Tag You're It as a drummer for many, many years. I was a writer in that band.
How many years?
I want to say, man, maybe we did that for about 7 years.
7?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good amount of time.
Yeah. We played for many, many, many years. And then I left the band, and that band turned into a band called November Skies, which it kept all the original members but me. And then, you know, they changed stuff up. And they wrote a bunch of awesome songs. I think it was a total of 6 songs that they recorded with Corey Spots. And to this day, I mean, I love those songs. It's not even my band, and I can like play all those songs like they're mine just because
Nice.
It's my homies, you know?
Yeah.
But with that said, so I did Tag You're It. Oh man, let me try to think here. I also was one of the original members of Gold Season. I'm not sure if you ever heard that band locally. I only played for a very short time while we're writing and developing the band. And then I stepped out, and Cash, I think his last name is Jaeger. He's a pretty well-known drummer around here. He's a great drummer. I think he plays with Scary Kids right now. He's touring with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Very, very great drummer. And then I also, let's see here. I played with Emerald Isle for many, many years. I was one of the original drummers of Emerald Isle. Then I left those guys and let them do their thing. And I didn't do music for about 5 or 6 years. Decided to do Demonship.
So just out of the blue, like after the 5 or 6 years, or was it something you've been like considering during that break?
During that break, I actually wrote 15 songs and learned how to produce music myself. When I quit Tag, and even though I was like doing stuff with Gold Season and Emerald Isle, I picked up guitar and I decided to teach myself how to play guitar and bass, and just sucked at it horribly for many, many years until I, you know, sucked a little less. And I just kept writing music. And I decided after a few years that I wanted to make my own band. So I wrote 15 demos, and I started going on the search of finding a producer, and I sat down with quite a bit of them.
Yeah. So is the producer the one that helps you find people to play the parts, or you just hitting people up?
No.
You know?
So I worked with a good best friend at the time named David Key, and he was a great friend to help me not only line myself up with David Ludlow, because I'd considered Corey Spots. I considered working with Austin at another time. Lev as well, who also did Trey, who did a couple of the Dropout Kings songs as well. And I chose to go with David Ludlow because of his experience with Greeley Estates. I loved how heavy he incorporated that band. That was an OG band from the 2000s. Also, he was the original creator of Dead. And I remember back in the day, many years back, before Joe even joined the band, he showed me a couple of the demos. I was like, dude, this is like new age Slipknot. It's exactly what it is now. But with that said, David Key helped me get in line with the homie David Ludlow. And we sat in the studio. We were literally in a studio, and he coached me 3 days a week, sometimes 4 days a week for an entire year. 3 months in, we picked up Shay Moore. David Key suggested Shay Moore just because I wasn't that great of a guitarist. It's just plain and simple. I'm not. I'm a vocalist. I'm a drummer. And like I told you, like I just picked up guitar and bass a few years before. So
you know what you want it to sound like, though.
I knew what I wanted to sound like. So I directed everything. I was able to, even though we brought Shay along, I taught him like what I wanted to play. He's like, okay, no. How about this? I was like, okay, that sounds way better,
like,
dude.
This makes more sense.
Yes. That resolves better. You know, that actually sounds like a song.
Yeah.
That's actually a chord. You know, I'm not just making some shit up. You know.
Yeah.
But that was probably the best decision I've ever made for this record. Straight up, Shay is a god.
Nice. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So is that something that's already out?
So I have 2 songs out right now. I have Pull the Lever that I released at the very, very end of 2022. I just wanted something out for 2022. Okay. I dropped my music video a couple months later for Pull the Lever. And then Dungeons I just released May 31st. I'm currently right now working with my main videographer, Manny Molina. He's also part of the Demonship team. He's not a musician on the team, but he is fully creative side.
Dedicated.
Yes, that's my dedicated boy.
Got you.
He is very talented. So we are currently right now, I have a couple of venues that we're trying to get locked out through Peerspace. And we're currently setting up, like, we have our full storyline already printed out. We already have everything planned on every shot. So it's a matter of just, we're coming up in a few weeks to start shooting and getting all of our sets sorted. So I'm super stoked. This is
like another video?
Oh yeah, this is a music video too. So my whole plan is every song that I release, I will have a music video.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hell of a commitment, dude.
It is.
Is it mostly going to be like just live live shots from shows, or are you going to like literally do like studio, videos every time?
Oh no, studio videos every time for sure. Maybe we might do like maybe a live one, but it'll always incorporate some sort of storyline and something that has to do with the Demonship branding.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I always like music videos that incorporate like real house parties.
Sick.
Those are fucking dope. When the camera spins around, it's like real people, like in a house.
Yes,
you're like, oh shit.
We're kind of gonna
be in a house to do that, dude.
There's kind of something. We're kind of gonna do something like that with this next one. I actually have like a big group of my homies, like all of my real life homies, some of the Tag Your It guys. I'm going to invite the Terror Blood guys and just like a bunch of high school friends. So we're going to try to get together. We do have a party scene in it. Like not to like, spill the beans or anything like that. It doesn't matter. We'll
make it a real party, And then,
it really is. So we're going to have,
you can't fake
I told
it.
everybody, I was like, hey, I'll provide the bud so everybody can smoke, roll up some blunts if they want to. And then I'll provide the beer. You guys have a good time. This is, I wanted us to have a good time together. All of us on camera.
A hell of a time.
Yeah.
When is that happening?
July 7th. Yeah, Friday, July 7th. If you want to come, we could use another, more the merrier. We'll have a couple beer pong tables set up as a part of it, like for the party scene. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, but yes, we really are doing that.
Nice. I just went to a house show last weekend.
We did?
And it was Arcanaut. It was like their first return show in like, I think, 2 years.
Sick.
So they tried to be another band for like 2 years. They rebranded to Cytera with a.
I think I've heard. Okay, I think I may have heard.
They rebranded to Cytera, and then they got back together as Arcanaut with all the original members. So it's like a 5-piece band, and like, dude, they're just fucking super loud, and it was really good. They were the first ones on, and then it was Born of Ash. And then there was Amaya was the third band, and then there was Day Tripper for the fourth band. It was like a doom, like droney kind of. There's like 4 like super loud, heavy bands. And
I think Amaya is also playing Sad Dad, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Amaya's gonna be at Sad Dad
Sick.
too. They're fucking super awesome. I love those guys.
I'm stoked.
They know how to party, dude. They're wild, all of them.
I mean, the bill on Sad Dad is like super heavy.
Yeah,
this is gonna be epic.
I missed last year's, but they told me like we're gonna make this like an annual thing. And we're
Okay.
gonna try to make it like the best each year. It's gonna be the best Sad Dad every single year. And it's like, God, okay. Like then I have to make the next one, and then they just stacked the bill. I'm like, fuck.
Well, then I looks like I need to do that next year for Demonship.
Yeah,
You know,
would work.
perhaps get on there. That'd be pretty sick.
Are you gonna? You're gonna play at Sad Dad though, right?
So Sad Dad, I'll be with Terrorblood.
Oh,
Terrorblood.
okay, that's right.
Terrorblood, I'll be drumming for them because I still. So the reason why I haven't like established and started dates for my three mini show kind of mini tour first kind of initial shows, is because I wanted to make sure I released at least 5 songs first. I wanted to have like
That's
5
fair.
familiar songs. That way, it's established. I've already done this.
Somebody can look it up afterwards.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't want to be that, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Playing live music is just really intimate, and I just enjoy it generally speaking. So I'm very anxious just to do it generally. But I figured if I just try to do it with some sort of strategy, perhaps maybe it might be a better route. Because I've done, so many bands, like I said, just like here and there, tons and tons of shows. Tag Your It, we played hundreds and hundreds of shows in our years, like tons. Just nonstop. We'd always have a show every month. It feels like for many, many years.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'd have 2 and 3 shows a month. But with that said, oversaturating can be maybe not so harmful, but maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking about it. Truth be told.
Maybe. I mean, it's easy to do that. There's so many moving parts and variables, and one person's successful strategy can be totally different than the next person's strategy that worked. Sure. Like, it just depends where you are at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Arcanaut kind of was doing that, where they're just playing a lot of shows, and then all their recordings that were on like Spotify and YouTube were all just like self-produced, like
sick.
Yeah, self-recorded. They were pretty rough, so it's like, we needed to get recordings down.
Okay.
So that way people could go back and listen to it.
Yeah.
And it didn't sound like it was recorded in a garage. That was like the main problem. But they're working on getting some recordings down now.
Sick.
But they, over those years since I was working with them, over those years, Dan, the guitarist, he's been building up like a home studio setup. So now he's got like an electronic drum kit to record on, and he's got like, all this, like the correct audio interface and all the pieces he needs. And he's been just practicing on Reaper pretty much like every day.
Reaper is the tits.
That's
actually what I did all
my
pre-pro on.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, Reaper.
Yeah, that's really powerful for a free program. Like,
it is. I'm free. I totally bought it, but because I wanted the full.
If you're using it that much, usually you're just like, why not?
Yeah. Who is all in? I'm sorry, you said the name is Arcanaut, right?
Arcanaut.
Who is all in that band?
You got Dan McCourt. He's a guitarist, like one of the founding members. Mm-hmm. And there's Luis Pedraza, other guitarist, and backing vocals. He's the other founding member. And then the third founding member is Steven Mendoza. He's a lead singer.
I feel like I know some of these folks.
And then they've been around a while, man.
Okay.
And the bass player is Art Sichoma. And then the drummer is Attila Mueller.
Sick. Okay, cool.
They haven't really done much else other than like Arcanaut or Cytera.
Mm-hmm,
you know what I mean?
When did that band start?
It's hard to say. I wasn't with them when they started. I was just friends with them. So
noted.
I don't know. They're probably like 7 years old.
Okay.
7 or 8 years old or something.
Gotcha. I asked because like with Tag, we were so active at the time. But we ended roughly 2012, 2013 maybe. So I was trying to like see if there's old homies back in the day, because I mean, like, I feel like I knew so many people like back then. So when I took that 5-year break, I actually didn't have any internet or anything like that. I kind of just like deleted all my Facebook, all my professional profiles, which I highly regret.
Oh my gosh,
dude, I had so many contacts, man.
Yeah,
but it's all good. I liked a fresh start because I wasn't really starting from nothing. I was starting with experience,
Absolutely, yeah.
So it was still a good thing. I mean, I'm doing just fine for what it's worth,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Well, at least you don't have to worry about like any past stuff, like not fitting the image you're trying to go for now or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty fresh. People don't know what Demonship is or who it is or who runs it, So I kind of like it like that. That's why I'm not sure if you've seen any of my profile pages, but that's what the demon is for. It's kind of just a representation of not only a visual representation, but I guess he also represents like almost like maybe even trauma, so to speak, but like he represents like this evil kind of darkness over me. I mean, that's what he represented. Demonship is actually the whole point of demonship is a relationship between man and his demon. That's what demonship,
Oh, okay.
relationship, demonship,
Oh, I get it.
So, anywho, yeah, that's what the demon is for.
Your songs are like pretty much loosely around that topic.
Yes, absolutely.
Trying to keep it themed.
It's pretty raw human experiences in terms of just like real life. Like the first song, Pull the Lever, is literally about coming to reality and just realizing, when you wake up every morning, you have that few moments where you're kind of just like, oh, where am I? Boom. Everything that happened in your life almost essentially hits you momentarily. You understand where you're at, where you've been through, what traumas you've been through.
Sounds like mushrooms.
Pretty much. Basically.
That sounds like every time I take mushrooms. It's like, oh shit.
Oh shit. Oh man. Yes. It's been a minute since I've done some fun drugs.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been looking into how to make some of those, but I hear you got to be in the right place or else it's illegal.
Yes, indeed. But there's also some phenomenal chocolates that are out there.
Yeah,
but they're very, very, very potent. You got to be careful.
Just got to drive up to Oregon.
Oh, you can't buy them legally?
I don't think you can buy them here.
Oh, dang.
I think you got to go to Oregon to get psilocybin.
I've never seen those things here in Arizona.
Not on a shelf. I think
Correct.
the first time I did mushrooms, it was like on a Valentine's Day, and the person that I was with my older brother at the time, but
okay.
the person that gave it to us was I don't know, it was like this. She was like a chick dealer, So
yeah.
she like did everything cutesy and stuff, and she had these chocolates with the mushrooms in them, and they had hearts drawn on them with frosting. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like a Valentine's Day
so
candy.
Sweet, but I know there's some intensity behind this heart.
That was the first time I did it. I didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen, But my brother's girlfriend me and my brother jumped in the back of the little pickup, and then she was driving us around to different parks. She didn't eat them. She was just driving us around to different parks. She's like, "Oh, let's go to the next park. Let's go." And we just go on another adventure in the back of the truck.
Holy cow!
It was nuts, dude. It was fun.
Do you remember any of the experience, like in terms of visuals?
I don't get a lot of visuals with mushrooms.
Oh no,
I just never have. I mean, things like melt and shift and warp.
Right.
Like if I stare at a wall too long, I can, the patterns start to come out, and you're like, whoa, that's cool. But it's like, it's just your brain like perceiving patterns.
Okay.
It's not real. It's just like visual like illusions.
Yes.
But like some of the ideas you have on mushrooms are like way too real. You're like, holy fuck, like that's crazy. You start thinking back on your life, or like even thinking about something that's in your hand. You're thinking about it in ways that you never would have before. Like it's like, holy shit. Like we were just playing with bouncy balls and like trying to be all like, fucking like bringing wisdom out of a bouncy ball, like, oh, these are just concentrated fun,
It basically
it's just concentrated fun, dude. We're just having so much fun with these. Like, that's all it's made of. You're just like, what the fuck are we talking about? Looking back at that night and like, Jesus Christ.
Shroomies, man.
Yeah, it was fun.
The adventures you can have on them.
You have an adventure in your living room on those.
Yes. Say the least, you can have an adventure anywhere.
I like the forest. It's the best place. Just no electronics, no lights.
I've never
just like a fire.
Experimented in the forest.
And fires. Like if you want visuals, stare into a fire on mushrooms.
Whoa.
Like, yeah,
Noted.
That'll look crazy. And like,
that would trip me out. That's real plasma, like to the dome.
Yeah, you see like the Game of Thrones episodes where they stare into the fire and they get like visions or whatever. Yeah, it's like that, dude. It's like it's talking to you. You're like, what is this trying to say?
Whoa, I should develop some new candy.
There's something in there. Like, it's a demon.
Perhaps it really could be.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So, you have any like notable shows that you remember for either from your band Taggart?
Well, first,
or
I have
from Terror Blood.
I actually do have a really notable. I mean, we were just in Vegas over the summer, and specifically, I mean, the show went awesome. Like I said, it was one of our best shows we ever played, and personally, as a drummer, that was probably my best drumming I've ever played. I noticed you kind of can tell because you'll be in the moment and you can like look around and realize you're in the moment. You're like, oh my God, this is crazy. You know, you could just, you're just experimenting, or you're experiencing, you know, what's going on, but you're kind of like, it's almost out of body.
Yeah, that's cool.
I definitely had it like that, during that moment. But the reason why this is a memorable show, so we got there pretty early and we loaded up. We did our sound check. We were one of the first. Since we were a touring band, we got the benefit of, you know, having the best sound. We got the backline a little bit. And even though we weren't headlining, which is a blessing. So we did everything. We got our backline done. We were all backlined. Got our sound check completed. And we're just hanging out, chilling. Other bands are coming in, whatever. Well, we decided we forgot something in the car. Garrett walked out with Chris. Or no, Garrett walked out with Max, I believe. And I don't know, for some reason I was like, I forgot something in my car too. So I'm walking out, and I remember when we got there, they mentioned that we had to pay for parking. So this completely slipped my mind. And we're there for a couple hours. I'm walking out, and all of a sudden I see somebody over there. I was like, who is that? And Garrett's all, Reuben, all right, they're trying to tow your car. I was like, and I just ran as fast as I can. Try to get up there. I'm like, hey, that's my car. I'm so sorry. I forgot to pay. And so they essentially stopped this guy about to tow my vehicle, which would have been horrible in Vegas,
oh my God.
And I just had like literally seconds. I ran, I paid it. I was like, hey, there's my receipt. We're done. And they did not tow my car, luckily. So Garrett and Max saved my car, or Garrett and Chris. Shoot, I can't remember exactly. It's been a minute. That was a really fun night. We got super toasty. As far as tag gear it goes, there's definitely a bunch of them. Yeah, I actually have a really pretty trippy story. If there's locals here in Phoenix, they'll definitely remember. So back in the day, I believe there was a big show. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Mario used to put on shows back in the 2000s, and this one was called, oh man, why can't I remember? It was Halloween Fest or something like that. And we had, there was probably like 16, 17 local bands.
Okay.
Back in the day, there was like old school bands. We Called the Shots, Taggart, well, we're an old band. I can't remember any more of the old punk and old metal bands, but classic ones from the 2000s. So the only folks that were putting on the show that were present, no security, was one sound guy, Mario, who started the show, and the owner of the building. Now, there were 17 bands. There were probably 300 to 500 kids with costumes in this entire area.
And they didn't have security guards or
no,
nothing?
I'm setting this story up. You know exactly how this is going. So my boy Matt, he played bass in Taggart. At the time, there was also Brett Bauer. He's a singer of We Call the Shots now, but he used to be the original singer for Taggart. And then there was Josh Hurd, my guitar. So we were a 4-piece. Luckily, we got there. Bands were already going. We decided to only unload one guitar. Thank God we did. So my guitarist had his guitar. That's it. Nothing else unloaded. Everything's all in the parking lot still. We had prime spots so we can, unload / leave if we needed to as a band. Just because it was a small parking lot, huge venue, tons of kids. So the show's going on. Probably 2 or 3 bands go on. Matt Adolphs and I decided to go check out one of our homie bands. They started playing. There's a bunch of kids out there moshing, getting crazy. For whatever reason, 3 or 4 guys kept running up to Matt because we were the 2 tallest dudes in the whole place. We were literally far in the corner. Like, we're just there. We're bands. We're not trying to mess with anybody. We're not trying to have fun.
Yeah.
We have energy we need to dispose of.
Trying to play a show.
Correct. We have a show. Exactly. And so we're just kicking it, hanging out, rocking out. This guy comes up and fucking smashes Matt in the back. He's all, what the hell? Pushes him back. Like, hey, man, we're just trying to have a good time having a show.
Yeah.
Another guy comes up and, like, smashes him. Before he even got the hit off of Matt, he just, like, stopped him in his place, shoved him back. Like, okay, we had enough. And we, like, moved over some more. Well, a third guy was coming. And I look over, and I remember my friend Matt at the time, or my homie Matt. He kind of had some back problems at the time. And this dude was coming full speed for him, and Matt didn't see him. I was like, what the hell? I was like, dude, stop. I, like, turned real quick, stopped, and, like, I didn't mean to shove him over, but I shoved him over. was like, hey, dude, I knew what you were doing. Like, completely stopped him in his tracks, shoved him. All of a sudden, Scorpion, I don't know who the hell this guy is to this day. You probably know, whoever, if Scorpion, if you're listening to, that was a good spear, buddy. He picks me up and spears me into the live band. I just feel myself. I look over at Matt. I just feel my entire body being picked up. I'm like, I'm on the stage now. Throws me into the bassist cab. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? Jeez. Matt picks this guy up by his shirt. And Matt was in rugby for many, many years. He's a smaller, like skinnier dude, but he is ripped, nice. 6'2". He picks this guy up by the shirt, punches him probably about 4 times, drives him out through the crowd, pushes him out the door. And at that moment, from what I recall, a slew of dudes, it was like 10 dudes run and rush Matt. They all jump him simultaneously. I run as fast as I can over there, pushing through people, punching just the side of skulls as I'm trying to reach my best friend. Matt throws this guy through the fucking window. There's a window that was open. He throws the guy through and jumps through himself. And I get through, I fight through the door to make it around. I'm punching people in the back of their heads as they're not paying attention, as they're trying to beat my friend up. And I finally get to him and I see Matt one at a time grabbing some guy's shirt, contacting him like 3 or 4 times. He's getting punched by 10 dudes at a time, one after another, just punching through these dudes, just annihilating them. They lose their momentum because they realize they're getting their ass kicked by 2 dudes. And I actually even punched some dude on complete accident that was trying to help me. I just clocked him. He's like, oh, dude, I'm trying to help you, man. I'm like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. My friend's being murdered. Like,
get out of my way.
Yeah, get out of my way. So they dispersed instantly. And that was probably like it seemed like a long time, but it was probably like 60, 120 seconds. They all dispersed. They all ran out. I had no idea. We had no idea who these kids are. We're in our young 20s.
They just wanted to get in a fight.
They knew what they wanted. They were little psychos.
Ugh.
And the owner of the venue tries to hold Matt and I in the corner. Like, hey, you guys can't go anywhere. The police are coming. We're like, dude, we're going to get murdered in this corner. Get the hell out of the way. Let us get out to the parking lot to our car so we can leave. He's trying to hold us like we started it. Like, dude, we were just jumped, my guy. So we push over we push over the promoter, like shove through him, get out. We meet up with Josh and Brett. Hey, dude, we were just jumped. Like we're fine. Like we're a little tired. Adrenaline's still mad pumping, and they're like, hey, we left the guitar inside. So I was like, okay, well, go get it real quick. We need to get out of here now. Well, they literally left. They were gone maybe a minute or 2. Okay, but I don't remember the whole minute or 2 because I'll explain. Next, a car comes into the parking lot. There's tons of kids. The entire venue's closed at that point. They kicked everybody out. All the bands are out. Everybody's upset. Everyone's geez. There's a lot of frustrations in the crowd. There's hundreds of people out in the parking lot. Lots of people pointing at us, looking at Matt and I. We're by ourselves. This truck pulls in, almost hits a bunch of kids, almost hits us. A bunch of people sitting out. We're like, everyone's all, hey, fuck you. They're like, a bunch of people were like, hey, man, slow down. Hey, chill out. For whatever reason, the guy's like, looks at me when he gets out of the car. He's all, fuck you. And I was like, dude, there was just a fight. Can you like chill out? Like, you almost hit some kids. And the guy's all, fuck you, pussy. And I was like, okay, God, dude. Well, this is my fault. I was already amped up. I just got into a fight. Yeah. And I didn't have my ass kicked. And this is the biggest learning lesson of my life. I decided to give him the finger walking, like, hey, keep on walking, buddy. I didn't say anything else. I just did the finger walking and antagonized the shit. The whole way he walked all the way up there to figure out that they're not going to play. It was another band, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
So the guy comes over to me, straight to my face, the biggest dude. I should never have messed with this guy. This guy towered over me. I full on, before that, he said, what are you going to do about it, pussy? Because he came all the way to me, shoved me, and I full clock swing, hit him as hard as I can. And he held his nose. He's like, oh, bends over. Well, I'm a dummy. My friend's tired. Never assume. 1, never start a fight. I learned that lesson. 2, never assume someone's going to help you. If you start something, you need to finish it. Because if you don't finish it, someone else is going to finish you.
Yeah.
So that guy turns his body. He's like, oh, takes him a second to gather himself. I wasn't paying attention to him. I turned to his friend, grab his shirt, and I start punching him because they were both trying to 2v1 me right there. And I'm not a fighter. Like, this is me being a noob. I'm an idiot young kid at the time. I start punching his friend. I get a full clock straight to my temple from that guy. My head hits a bumper on a car, and they both proceed to start stomping on like my body and my head. My bassist Matt was like, nope. He had enough, you know, and like walked over and chokes the big guy. The little guy turns over to Matt, and he's like choking and holding this guy with one arm. He starts fighting the guy with one hand, the other skinny dude.
Jeez.
They all end up on the floor in a grapple, but he didn't want to let that one guy go because obviously that'd be bad.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
he's trying to pass this guy out, trying to choke him out. The guy gets up and starts stepping on his face and breaks his nose. For whatever reason, a couple seconds, I'm ready. I'm clocked out. I'm out on the ground. I'm blacked out, knocked out. He says that in an instant, like something happened where he grabbed his leg, and then he was able to get out of, you know, being from underneath that guy that he was holding, and he jumps up to square up with both of them at the same time. Both of them bitch out, run through the crowd, and the crowd at the whole time was what he was saying, that they're saying, kill them, like beat their ass. We don't know any of these people.
Jeez.
Matt, all I remember from that moment, Matt wakes me up. He goes, Reuben, wake up. They're trying to murder us. I was like, what? And I'm like, messed up. I have welts all over my face. My head is just like a melon that's like misshaped. Like he messed me up. And I just see Matt's face, broken nose, blood just all the way down his face and shirt. I was like, oh God, we did not win. Oh God. You know, I get up, and right when I get up, then comes my guitarist and my singer, like, holy shit, what happened? You know? And then Josh has his guitar, and he's all, fuck you, y'all, get back. He's all swinging at like the crowd around us. We jump into my car. There's this dude named Waffle. I don't know I think Chris Waffle is what his name is or something like that. He throws a giant rock at my car as we're leaving, as we just got our ass beat. Yeah, that guy's a jerk. I don't know where that guy is now, but holy crap, man. That is my most memorable Tag Your It show. We survived. We got back to Francisco Studios, all beat up and stuff, and Matt Adolph saved my life. I would not look how I am. I would probably not even talk if it weren't for Matt.
That's fucking nuts, dude.
I know. I'm all amped up telling that story.
Man, I kind of want to get him on here to tell his side.
Matt?
Yeah.
Oh, Matt would. I'll let him know. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool as fuck, dude.
He was the only one conscious throughout all of it. I'm sure
That's
Josh
nuts.
probably loved to too. Maybe Brett, because I know that Josh doesn't do active music, but Brett and We Call the Shots, I believe they're starting to get back active again.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he would love to.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Crazy. I can't believe I survived that, man.
That's a nuts story,
Yeah,
man.
I'm sure some people, if you know, they've known about it or they've been around for a long time and they've heard of. It's called the Plantation. That's right. It was the Plantation.
Plantation. That sounds familiar.
Yeah. It's actually should have been right down the street. We're pretty close to it.
Is it still there?
Yes. I don't think it's a place that they do shows at. I think they resold it to another owner, and businesses kind of filled it up, because it was like I want to say it was like a little outlet mall kind of.
Yeah.
And like in the far back was like a big open door venue, and they made that a stage in there. So like the outlet areas where people could hang out, and there was like vendors and stuff, and then like you go in and that's where the show was. And
That's
the
pretty cool.
the greenhouses were like the businesses on the right side, so you could go back there, and they like conjoined. It was really sick.
That's actually really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's nothing like that anymore.
No, not so much. But I do like all the venues that are out here now. There's some cool ones still.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a kind of a weird one the other day called Trunk Space.
Okay, I've heard of that. I've not been there, but I've heard of it.
It's like a side room of a church in downtown Phoenix. There's like this
What?
it's like this little church on this tiny little lot, and it's all like these. It's like made of brick. It's like a brick church, you know, like or it's like stonework and stuff. But I just saw like a red banner like hung on the side of one of the buildings that said Trunk Space with an arrow. And I was like, what the fuck? This is the venue? I was just like, I parked somewhere just in downtown, like on one of the neighborhood streets, because all the parking was taken up. I was a little bit late.
Was there construction there?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It might have been like across the street from a construction site.
Okay.
But there's always construction downtown, so I don't know.
Gotcha. Yeah, no,
I don't know how to
facts,
describe
facts,
that.
hard facts.
But,
Because Terrible
pretty
played
weird.
a show downtown. I don't think it was a Trunk Space. It was another new venue. It was really strange. But I thought I don't know, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Never.
Trunk Space looked like a little rec room. It was like a little recreation room for a youth group or something. It looked like
not.
really weird, dude. There's like, yeah, they had a projector hung with like 4 bolts from the ceiling.
Oh, whoa.
Like, and then the HDMI cord was like duct taped to the ceiling over to the. It was like
Some pro cabling
somebody
right
threw
there.
this shit together quick.
Hell
I
yeah.
don't know, but it was an interesting venue, man. They had some pretty wild shows.
Sick.
The headlining guy was In a Dream. I have him scheduled for this Saturday. Actually.
Oh, sick.
So he's gonna be episode 31. I think.
Right on.
So as long as everything goes well.
Yes.
Sometimes episodes fall through and whatever.
Totally understand.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. He did this it was like electronic punk almost.
Whoa.
He had a live drummer with a real drum kit and himself. And
what was the band called again?
He had a whole rack he had a MIDI controller and like turntables and another controller on the table.
Is this Snailmate?
What's up?
Oh, wait, who is this band?
In a Dream.
Oh, In a Dream. Okay.
INADRM.
Okay. I've seen a couple bands with a live drummer and one vocalist with Interesting.
His name is Joseph. Joseph. Shit, it's gonna bug me, dude. I gotta look at it.
Yeah, for sure. Totally understand.
What's his name? Joseph. Let me see. It's on the other chat. Joseph Corrao.
That sounds really familiar. Man, there's a lot of familiar.
Yeah, he does
folks.
some cool. He was doing like cool vocals. He had like a huge long delay. It's almost like
sick.
Yeah, it was just like super far away kind of vocals. But he was doing like a lot of sampling from like hardcore EDM, like Anger Fist. And
okay.
So it was like super fast and heavy, and he was like doing like punk vocals. And there's a real drum kit next to him, like fucking hammering away. That guy was fast.
That's perfect.
Too.
That's
dude,
perfect.
It was good. I was surprised. I was like, dude, why don't you do more live shows? Like, you should be doing this more, And he told me he has a problem like getting on a bill, because punk shows won't take him because he has like all this electronic equipment, and they're like, no.
Yeah, too much.
You're not punk. Or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what it actually was, but it sounds like what it would be. Like, you're not a punk band.
Which is not true. Punk music is just loud and chaotic.
Do whatever the fuck you want. It's music.
Exactly.
It's music. It sounds the same. It would go well together. Like,
that reminds me because I really just like love how genres and music is changing. Like right now, present time music is so different than what it was 2000s, 90s. Well, it is so fusion.
You can record anywhere now, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just even like 20 years ago, try recording at home. In 2003.
Couldn't.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
Like, unless you have like real studio equipment in your house somehow. And this is the realest studio equipment I have are these two mics right here. Like,
this is a studio to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a studio, but I mean, like, professional wise, like, I don't know. I guess maybe you could call that a professional.
Well, you do remember, I mean, maybe you don't know this, but I think it was one of Last Korn's albums was mixed by some 15, 16-year-old kid in his room on a laptop with some headphones. Yeah. I
mean, yeah, you can mix anywhere with a laptop for sure.
True.
I mean, I'm talking about like actually recording.
Tracking, gotcha. Okay.
It takes a lot of preparation to get it sounding.
A lot of precision, to say the very least. Yes.
Recording is a different beast, man. It sucks.
It is. It's a pain. I actually, it's funny. I have some like recordings that I tracked at my house. Some of them. So Austin would fly down here or drive down here from LA, and we would do stuff in the Demonship studio. We also did some stuff at David Ludlow Studios, and then we also, when Austin lived here in Phoenix, he had an entire home studio here. So there's like 3 different studios that I got to do things. I mean, everything sounds literally consistent, but
what's your favorite though? Just Demonship. So you don't have to leave your house?
Oh, well, my home is like the shit, yeah. I love the way...
like, I don't want to leave.
No, I just really love the way my ceilings are shaped. It just, the unique sound that's captured in my home it's actually really...
Is it like easier to record there or something?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I live off a main street, but I also use Shure 7Bs, and they rock.
Oh, yeah, man. These mics are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just picked up this, the one you're using. I just picked it up yesterday, actually.
Beautiful.
At Sam Ash. I saw they had a used one. I was like, who the fuck would turn in a 7B?
Huh.
Like, who
Decisions were made right here.
Yeah, seriously. Fuck. But I was in there to sell something, so I was like...
And you were captured.
Yeah. They caught me.
I haven't been to Sam Ash in a while. I need to go.
Yeah. Actually, Art and Steven from Arcanaut, they used to work there.
Oh, really?
So, like, yeah.
Down, or not downtown Phoenix one?
No, the one off like 43rd and Cactus. It's like...
Okay, yeah, sorry. Yes, that's what I referred to. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, yeah, I can, like, talk to all the guys about metal there. And, like, all the guys that still work there, I ask them, like, oh, yeah, you're into metal? They're like, Arcanaut? Like, they always bring up Arcanaut before I say anything. It's like, oh, yeah, I know
the homie name drop. Hell yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like handing out my business cards for my podcast there yesterday. I was like, here,
sick.
take one of these.
Do you take one of these and put them like in like every GC, every like venue or something like that?
I haven't been. I just started going to shows recently.
Okay, gotcha.
So like I've been like kind of unable to, like, just financially.
Yeah, noted.
And like
Understood.
my schedule's all screwed up. But I just started getting able to, like, you know, try to get back into shows and getting tickets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it kind of works out with this podcast. But yeah, it's I usually just hand them out to people, like, wherever I'm going in just my daily life.
Yeah,
like at
fair
the
enough.
dispensary, shit like that.
Yeah.
Like the grocery store. If I see somebody who looks like a metalhead, be like, hey man,
Hey man,
you look like you would like this.
You might be interested in this.
Got tattoos all over. It's like, hey man, check this out.
I would totally do that. Or you can also like, no, never mind. I would be like, hey man, those tattoos right here. This is the answer. Just completely nothing that has anything to do with there. Hey man, you having a bad day? I got your source
Just
right here.
confuse them. Just be like, wake up.
Wake up. Hey man, you look sleepy.
Yeah.
Here's something to wake you up.
I have stickers too. They're little square stickers about the
Sick.
same size but square.
I need to make stickers.
They have the same QR code on them. So it's just a sticker with a QR code with the logo. So if you scan it, it goes right to the YouTube. And I've just been putting those stickers on like drive-thrus and shit like that.
I need to make cards. I need to make stickers. I'm so behind. I focus so hard on like trying to develop the music, brand, website, merch. I like did all these business management things. I'm just like, okay, what about the basics, like stickers and like...
Dude, honestly, I made those on Canva in like 10 minutes.
Oh, gangster.
Yeah, they look pretty good for a 10-minute build.
They look great.
Like,
this is sick.
Yeah, just...
I also like how this feels, too. It's good texture. It's comfortable. Unlike like the ones that are a little bit rough.
There's like 3 different textures you can choose from. I chose...
Smooth.
I chose one of them last time. I didn't like it. It was like a...
Oh, I just realized it was
or
a
something.
soul.
Or no, it was like a rough finish,
Mm-hmm.
like the one you're talking about.
Yes.
And then this is just unfinished.
Ah, I see.
Like unfinished
texture.
That's what they called it. I don't know, but
I like this.
It. Yeah, it's
Unfinished,
way
quote
better.
unquote.
Then they had glossy. I was like, no.
Yeah, gloss is too much. Plus, it gets scratched to shit.
Yeah, I don't know why people get glossy cards.
I don't want that. But I do really, really love this skull. I just realized what's going on in the background here.
Yeah, put like a skull
is
watermark
sick.
on it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. If you want a business card, hit me up. I have a couple hundred left.
Word.
I need
Yes,
like 1,000.
please do. Hit him up.
I need like 1,000, dude. I need to start dropping those in venues, like you said.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
You start
I mean,
riding
as soon
around.
as I heard like Tyler Beck did it, a podcast with you, I was like, whoa, this looks like so much fun to do. Like,
Nice.
I'm gonna hit you up. Hey man.
Yeah, that's cool. You're like one of the first few people to actually hit me up. People just started hitting me up randomly, like the last couple weeks.
Sick.
Like you're one of the first people. I was like, oh shit, somebody's actually hitting me up for an episode. Like,
Hell yeah.
that's new. You know?
Yeah. I honestly
I'm usually just reaching out to all my friends. Like, you guys know anybody? Come on, I need guests. Like, just get
if I
someone
could be
on my
honest,
podcast.
I think this is probably one of the best ways to be raw, real human, and just not only hanging out with somebody, meeting
Yeah.
new people, but like people want to connect. Like if you're going to be a musician, generally speaking, they want to connect to something real. Like it's
Yeah.
nice to see a logo. It's nice to see a music video. But people want to know like who's the human behind this. Like there's obviously some emotion to it. So who is he?
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
who are they?
That's exactly what I wanted to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to do the same kind of thing with Arcanaut, where I was gonna like, I was working as their manager and kind of like
Sick.
trying to do marketing for them and stuff.
Yes, sir.
I don't really play instruments. I kind of fuck around on guitar and keyboard a little bit just because
Dope.
I like to make music, but I'm not good by any means. I can play like the Zelda song and shit
Sick.
like that. Like just stupid stuff.
I mean,
But,
I can't play a single anyone's song.
Yeah, I
only
play
my own songs.
anything on guitar. I taught myself. I can't
Sick.
play like any guitar. Like I don't know any songs.
I was checking out your guitars earlier.
They're dusty. I haven't touched them in a while.
Mine are
They're
too.
probably way out of tune.
It's all good.
Oh,
It's all
well.
good.
One of them is just totally like warping. I need to probably just get a different guitar. But
Just tune it. New strings. It's good to go.
no, like the neck is
Significantly.
kind of fucked up.
Oh,
I had,
yeah. Maybe
I actually had Art put new strings on it in Sam Ash, and he was like, "Dude, this isn't good, dude. This action is like way too high. Like, I don't know how to fix this." He's like, "Fuck."
This is
Oh,
unfixable.
well. It's a super old guitar, so it's like, it's understandable.
Which one is that specific?
It might be the one in the case.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I think it's in the case, but the hard case.
Word.
But yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to learn an instrument.
It is.
I just can't sit down and learn it. Like it takes too much time. But
I think what helped me is, well, grandiose amounts of marijuana, but I would say I would just sit down. I would just play like one note. And I was like, all right, how could I gent this?
Yeah.
No, not really. No, I would just sit down. I would just like, kind of just like vibe with it and just suck at like, all right, what kind of like weird melodic notes sound kind of not bad next to each other.
Yeah.
And then, well, I always watched Josh from Tag Your It play guitar. So I always kind of obsessed how he held his guitar and like how he like just like strummed, or like how he just held his pick was just so sick. He was just such a sick chugger. So kind of my first things with guitar, or my first, I guess, experimental with holding string, playing with the string instrument, was just like, how could I do different chugs? I'm a drummer, so I know rhythm.
That probably helps a lot.
It did a little bit. And when I picked up bass, it really resonated with me. I was like, oh, dude, I'm really feeling this. Like, there's only so many notes you can do in like a box square. Like, you can basically hit every note you want.
Yeah.
Even though I'm like kind of tone deaf, so I just, I'm actually, so interesting. Not a lot of people know about this, but I'm actually almost completely deaf in my left ear. So I only hear mostly from my right. Like, when I mean mostly, I'm like, I only hear a very, very small amount of mid frequencies only from my left ear. And then right is completely a normal ear. So I actually listen to bounces off walls. And it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of the music I wrote, I kind of heard like really dissonance or kind of like almost monotone. And I kind of like heard like melodies from like the monotone, I guess, so to speak. And that's where I made some demos from, because I even go back and listen to them like, whoa, this is weird. It's kind of cool, weird. Because my songs have changed so much.
Yeah.
Anywho, yeah.
Well, that's pretty interesting, man. So, can you hear people talk then? From your left ear and stuff?
No,
so that's like
not really.
Right?
So if you remember the Peanuts, like the old school. Oh, did I say Peanuts right? Yeah, Peanuts, aka.
So you get like the whole radio.
Wom 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 wom.
Yeah.
So if I plug my right ear and I'm like just trying to listen, like literally just my left, it's wah 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 wah. I can't hear anything.
I guess you need the highs, huh, to get the
correct. It's literally just straight mid, just.
God damn,
sucks. But it's. I mean, as soon as I unplug my right ear, it's like I don't have any quality of life suffering or anything. I mean, I'm singing in a band,
Yeah, shit. I mean, obviously being deaf doesn't affect music.
Right? I wasn't gonna allow it. Hell no. Interestingly enough, I was put in special ed and I had a hearing aid as a kid, and it was so embarrassing and it just was so distracting because the teacher thought, oh, I'll put this microphone right next to my mouth and this kid will hear me. Dude, I'm not hearing anything. I'm just hearing wah 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 really loud. It's distracting. I can't focus.
Yeah.
So they put me in special ed. Well, this kid needs to be in special ed. He can't develop and learn like the other children. It was very, very weird for development as an elementary child. It did not fit in. Although there was this really, really, I remember now, like I felt like, okay, it didn't mean, if you're in special ed, it doesn't mean you're an unnormal person. So when I mean, I felt like I was kind of like a normal kid that didn't belong there, so to speak, or I felt like I didn't belong in like a special ed class. But there was a girl that I met there. Her name was Desiree, and she was also completely a well-developed child. There was no reason why she needed to be in special ed. They only put her in special ed because she had a facial disfigure. And I remember she was like the first girl I had a crush on. We like held hands and like special ed and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just really comforting that I had somebody to be there with that I could talk to and that was developed and understood what I was saying.
Also like,
correct.
Didn't really belong there.
Yes. And so to speak. Yes. But that was the education system, even the 90s, they weren't perfect. Yeah, they're not perfect now.
I almost ended up in special ed too. And it's literally just because like I did not listen. I did not pay attention. I was literally just trying to like laugh all the time. I was trying to make jokes. I was trying to be funny. I was trying to like,
you were a kid.
I was like the comedian in the class.
Okay.
I was like trying to make other people laugh. Like the teacher would say something and I would like make a joke about it to somebody else and like 4 people would start laughing and the teacher would just like, oh my God, this kid's not listening at all. I'm like, but I am listening. Like I'm just having fun,
So why did they determine that?
she told my mom that like I might need like special classes and I should go get like tested for autism, and
What?
I'm like, I mean maybe, but
Interesting.
it doesn't affect me. I don't know.
You know what's very interesting is that a few generations back,
Yeah.
I would have to say more along our lines, before our parents, our grandparents, there wasn't cases of ADHD with children. You know, it's quite interesting how it developed. Same thing with Alzheimer's and dementia. This wasn't really common issues with people in the States. And it's very interesting. Like I would never say anything that I don't understand as like fact. So I just say it's very interesting that, you know, the FDA approved, you know, so much food and just health products that...
Dude, it's a racket, man.
Dude, it's horrible.
It's a racket.
It's bad, man. Like,
Yeah.
So 2024, they're banning every food and every ingredient, or I'm sorry, every food product and, you know, hygienic human products that has, you know, red 40 in it. You know, Europe's been way ahead of us. They don't put up with that shit. So Europe doesn't have dyes in their food. As soon as there's something that has, you know, some sort of carcinogenic, you know, result after many years or studies, they don't put up with that. Gone, done. That can't be in the market.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I don't understand how the States allows, you know,
Lobbyists.
Yeah, that could be it. You're right. Actually, you're right.
No, that's exactly it.
Yeah. You're absolutely correct.
It's these people who are like, you know, they're in government, like writing these regulations and protecting the freedoms of these giant monopolistic corporations. And, you know, they're promised jobs on the way out of that elected position. They're like, hey, you know, if you do this, this, and this, you got a nice cushy job when you get out of there.
How do those folks sleep at night?
I don't know. Probably in fucking massive gold-lined beds, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, touche.
Yeah, like...
I'm sure there's not every single individual is a horrible person, or maybe they don't even know what they're doing, because a lot of those fools are literally fools. They're foolish people. All they care about is money. It's all they see.
I mean, the way I like, well, it's just a theory of mine, but it's like, you know, those people in those positions, they aren't any like smarter than any other person.
Correct.
You know, they probably aren't any like dumber than any other person.
Right. They're human beings.
They were in the right spot at the right time most of the time.
Likely.
You know, some people, they make a business, they get lucky, they strike gold, and fucking they're rich, you know. And I've noticed like those are the kind of like people who are like philanthropists who like give back, and they're like, you know, this money isn't really mine. It's like, you know, all my customers, you know, that made me get here, you know, those people, you could spot them out. And then the people that were like born into it, they're just like, you know, how do we make more? Let's keep going. That. You know, let's make this a bigger empire.
There's definitely, I would say, those lifestyle experiences that they may not understand really what is, I wouldn't say the word struggle. I mean, because everybody struggles, to really like build and like survive. That's what I meant to say. Because like surviving is something that most of society, most of the public has to do. You know, if you don't have a substantial amount of money, or, you know, you don't have some sort of investment put away that you're collecting on interest on because family members set that up, or you're lucky with, you know, a substantial amount of, you know, some sort of pot of cash or inheritance, we'll say also. Yeah, I do consider that there are those types of folks out there as well. Maybe that may not seem colder, but more along the lines of just not know better.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say I know a lot of like super rich people. So
I don't either.
I'm kind of just talking out of my ass right now. I do that a lot on this podcast.
Fair enough.
So if
I mean, this is all
anybody,
fun.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care if I offend anybody.
Nobody rich is watching this podcast anyways. I guarantee you that.
You never know.
Maybe. I mean, out of the 40 people, one of them might be rich.
Perhaps. Rich is a different. We'll just say, just for the sake of the podcast, rich is could be measured in a lot of things.
Oh yeah,
because I'm rich in one aspect. I'm rich in cats. I've got 3 of them. That's enough cats for one man.
Yeah, I'm pretty rich in comic books. Those books behind you. It's quite a few of them.
Yes, you are. Very rich.
Yeah, I need another bookshelf, dude.
I recommend it.
Yeah, there's some I can't put on the shelf. they're like in the paper versions, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the right storage for them to put on a shelf. But.
I feel so noob because I don't even have like enough books to like fill a shelf.
Oh, dude, I bought all those when I was in the Navy.
How sick.
I just had a whole bunch of money and I was living in the barracks. I was like, comic shop down the road.
Yes.
And the guy, it was a cool comic shop too because all the walls were lined with those books, the paperback trades.
Yeah.
And those ones are cool because you can display them on a shelf and you can still read the
there's
title.
Some sick ones.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I have a lot of Image. I just like the third party writers. It's like stories you never see. They never are gonna hit the movie screens.
Ooh, this ghost book. Almost took out this mic again. This ghost book look interesting.
Yeah, that's my girlfriend's book on ghosts. She has like these. Do
you guys Pokemon as well?
Ghost books, huh?
Do you guys have Pokemon as well?
Pokemon?
Yeah, I mean, I usually associate anything like anime, toys, all that. Like, I always have to ask, like, are you into Pokemon as well?
Oh, am I into Pokemon?
Yeah.
I thought you said, do I have Pokemon? I was
both.
Like,
that was a 2-in-1 question.
I have cats and a dog. Like, I mean, I'm not super into Pokemon.
Okay.
My girlfriend Mars is more into Pokemon than I am.
Sick. Okay.
But she tries to get me to play the new games. I'm like, they're too slow.
Gotcha.
I play Call of Duty, man. Like
Oh, that's fair.
I gotta run. I gotta like. There's no. I guess there is a sprint in Pokemon.
Yeah, it's
like 10 times slower than Call of Duty, man. I just can't.
Very much.
It's a different kind of game.
Yes,
I can't do anything turn-based. Turn-based, I can't do. It's too slow. Gotta have action.
I do understand that.
Yeah.
But I used to play 1.6 CS or Counter-Strike, the OG.
1.6.
Yes.
Play Scouts Knives.
Source. Oh my god!
Everybody settles their differences on Scouts Knives. Dude.
Yes. Oh my god! I have not played that map or just various maps of Scouts and Knives in a long time. Also missed all the surf maps.
Yeah, dude, surfing was the best.
Oh man,
I love the surf ones. I got really good at it.
Same.
Dude. I saw like when I first started doing it, I was like, how like these maps don't make sense. I just keep falling to the floor.
How do I strafe? How these guys are so good?
What are you doing? Like, and somebody showed me. Like me and my brother used to go to an internet cafe called Cyberzone. I think it still exists.
I used to go to that place too.
You went to Cyberzone?
Yes.
Shit, maybe we played together. I don't know.
Dude, that's a trip. How old are you?
31.
I'm 34. I'm almost 35. So could be. You
could have been. We might have been playing at the same time in that place. Like,
because I definitely was playing like 20s too. So
yeah, we played like Warcraft 3.
Hell
like the Hero Line Wars, all the custom maps and shit.
Also played World of Warcraft back in the day.
Yeah, that's the one I didn't touch.
I
saw people just they would literally sit down and stare at the screen and like not move with their eyes open, like not blinking, like the whole like 6 hours they were there. I'm like, I can't play that game.
Don't you tell me how I was.
Yeah, like these guys don't look like they're even having fun, man. They're just yelling at the mic. Like
it was a blast.
You know.
Actually, coincidentally, I didn't know how to type before I played World of Warcraft.
Oh, really?
I'm a phenomenal typer because of that fucking game. God damn it. I feel like a lot of folks do that with video games. Something you have to type or like keyboard base or mouse if you're playing a PC game. Kind of develop social skills from that.
Yeah, I never really got good at typing.
No,
I just type with like 3 fingers on each hand. I type really weird, dude. I'm all over the place. You know, I can go pretty fast, but I can't do it like the classical typing.
Gotcha.
I can't do that shit.
Maybe I'm just hella nerdy.
My mom tried to teach me for the longest time. She's had a desk job like her whole life, you know, so she's had to type like super fast.
Yeah.
Like doing notes and meetings and shit like that.
Understood.
And she was always like watching me type, like, what are you doing? What is wrong with you? Like, why do you type like that? It's so slow. Like, I don't know.
This is my triangle. This is my comfort zone.
I just don't care. Like, I'm typing just fine. Leave me alone. Like, typing that paper is going to take forever.
Did you ever do the keyboard class? Or like where they like covered your hands? Like,
yeah, dude.
I sucked at it.
I was really bad.
Yeah, same. I failed. I failed keyboard class.
I had a friend. He's crazy, dude. He could type like 110 words per minute in like fucking 5th grade.
Dude, that is like competition level speed.
Yeah, dude.
Like, dude, that's insane.
Like 5th grade. This little kid, like,
what?
Like,
God.
He's just really good at it. Like, he's a natural. I don't know. But I remember my mom was a substitute teacher when I was in elementary school, and she had him in like a computer class or something, and they had to do typing practice. And he was like, Miss Brillhart, do I really have to do this? And she was like, yeah, you have to do all the work. And he's like, I already know how to type. She's like, okay, if you can beat me in a typing competition, you don't have to do the work.
Oh,
shit. They sat down and did it 3 times, and he just wiped the floor with her like 3 times in a row. And she was like, okay, never mind. You don't have to do it.
All right, you are the only student that may just sit there and do nothing.
Yeah. You do whatever you want, kid.
There used to be a Type Racer on.
Yeah.
It's like a game. It's like you compete with people online. Like there's like a little car and you get a sentence and you race folks and you try to like beat them in a race.
Yeah. They probably stream that shit now.
They do.
There's typing games out there.
Oh, I should do that as a
stream.
stream.
YouTube's like where like 2 people will be typing. Like they're just on like a Zoom call staring at the screen like it looks weird, but you can see the game screen and like whatever progression is.
I used to think I was like a fast. I think it's like 60 words per minute that I can do. That feels really fast.
Yeah, I'm probably.
But I get pulverized. It's
probably like 20.
Hey, it's at least 20.
Texting, I'm even slower. Dude, texting takes me forever. I see people use a swipe. They just swipe out words like it's like a whole sentence in like a second.
I can't do that. I have giant Greek hands. Like and I have the smallest phone too.
Oh geez, an iPhone.
I can't
so small.
Not do it. Like it's. Yeah, I don't do the swipe or anything. It's just.
Yeah, I just type with one finger, and I type. I type like I talk. So I'm typing out full sentences with like commas and punctuation.
Same.
Oh man, I can't stand it when people just use talk to text and they just hit send without looking at it.
There's one thing that I've been doing lately, which is kind of fun. I do like the voice memo. It's like my friends, because that way we can just literally say what we're wanting to say.
Yeah, I'll do voice memos. Those are cool.
Yeah, word. I mean, I find that's easy now.
Yeah,
but a lot of people don't even like talking. There's like so antisocial. When I say people, what I mean by people is just probably some of my friends, I guess.
Yeah, that would count.
Okay, fair enough.
I guess
they are folks. They are people.
Making friends with like the pigeons at QT.
Hey man, don't judge. They be tight. They know how to do that.
Some of those pigeons look pretty good, man.
We good. The flying rats.
Yeah.
Like to eat.
Some of them look. No, they look like pretty. They don't belong in the streets of QT.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some of them also look really frazzled. You're just like, ooh, get the hell away from me.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of frazzled. Like birds, Max, Sean, and I were on our way out of Vegas. Terrible guys. We're on our way out of Vegas. We decided to stop at a restaurant, ate food. We're sitting outside, just smoking, chilling. These pigeons come out of nowhere, dude. They look like they were rabid, and they kept like approaching us. They're like getting closer and closer. Like they wanted you. Like stay away from the birds in Vegas. That's all I have to say. That's my recommendation.
Like 28 days later bullshit.
Bro, they were disgusting looking. They were just like their feathers were all trash. I was like, dude, what is wrong with this guy? Were you fucked up in a fight?
They rolled over in oil too many times.
I guess. Or they're on blues,
It's engine oil, dude.
Oh my god.
That's it. When you see those pigeons, they're all black and like fucked up. It's because they have engine oil on them somehow. I don't know how I don't know how that happens, but
just high as fuck. Just on engine oil.
They just bathe in the wrong puddle.
Like, it's so horrible.
It's fucked
poor
up,
guys.
Dude. The life of a pigeon.
I'm not trying to laugh at them. Poor pigeons, man.
I
still call them flying rats, dude. They're literally flying rats.
Yeah. I don't think they live very long.
They don't.
I think they only have like a year or two.
I actually gotta look this up. How long do the average pigeon
city
live?
pigeon, not a pigeon out in like the
correct city.
Country.
Let's see here. Average life
of a city pigeon.
Average. I need to know this. Average life.
This important
span
information
of city. Why can't you pigeon?
It's like 4 years.
Oh wow, the average penguin. Okay, hold on.
Was
I spelled pigeon, and I was auto-corrected. Thank you. What's your guess?
Oh, geez, your face.
These poor guys, these little chub rats.
I said a year or two first.
3 to 5 years, a little longer.
3 to 5?
3 to 5 years. Damn.
All right.
I mean, that's not bad.
Not the ones that roll in oil.
Domesticated pigeons have been known to live up to 15 years. So if they're not rolling around in oil and they're fed well and they're not abused, they live up to 15 years. Poor
God, I wonder what those last 5 years are like.
Oh, God. Probably one of the Vegas frazzles, dude. Oh, man.
The elder pigeon.
Elder pigeon. Just so dangerous.
Just like hates life. I'm imagining Guru from Dragon Ball Z. He's just like chirp, chirp. It's like this
Oh
massive.
man, I hope I'm not
fat pigeon.
reincarnated to a pigeon.
With like liver spots.
I wonder if 3 to 5 years is. Gosh damn it! That's what they're. Oh man, poor pigeons.
So what animal would you be then? If it's not a pigeon,
Probably an elephant.
an elephant?
Yeah,
They live a while.
they do. That's not why I'd want to be an elephant. They're just, well,
So you
actually, it'd be
remember things?
horrible. I'd probably just be like put into like some show or something. Just shit.
Out of all the elephants in the world, how many
Huh.
are in shows? Probably not.
Probably not very many.
Not very
obviously.
many.
An elephant's life seems pretty nice though, because they like love and they have like emotion and like
They're pretty smart.
they're very intelligent. They're very
Yeah.
intelligent. I don't think they're the most intelligent mammal, or are they? Maybe.
It's hard to say.
Okay,
you
fair
know?
enough.
I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
everything is so different. You know,
There's
but-
actually a lot of studies and theories that suggest that substantial amount of mammals and non-mammal creatures have very intricate and complex lives, very similar to humans. And the reason why we can't necessarily compare like intellectual differences is because, well, we communicate different. There's certain feelings we get differently. There, you know, brain stimulation is far more differently or different. Yeah. Something I remember researching
Yeah, I mean, well,
before.
it's-
I was like, interesting.
I think you boil it down to perception. You just can't perceive what it would be like to be a bird.
Right.
You know,
right.
You would have no idea. Like, you can't even start to imagine what it's like to even
can't.
fly.
That's like the same thing as imagining trying to be like this wooden table.
Yeah.
You simply can't. There's no perception to be. There's nothing to relate to, and that's what humans. That's actually what humans use perception of, or like base in comparison. If you can't imagine, then it just seems impossible, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, what would it be like to be like an amoeba? Just a little single-celled organism.
Be getting booty all day, or
Maybe they're having a great time, dude. You
Yeah.
don't know.
I've seen
they're-
Osmosis Jones.
Maybe they just party all day long.
That'd be pretty tight to be like reincarnated to like a white blood cell, like Osmosis Jones, and save the day.
Our white blood cells aren't their own organism, are they?
No, absolutely
That's what I
not.
mean.
It was
Like,
just
you-
a
that
cartoon,
doesn't-
but
you can't
you
reincarnate
never know.
into-
Come on, perception.
Yeah.
Perhaps amoebas just they party, they have this whole social thing, and we just got it all wrong, Likely
Maybe-
not.
yeah.
Piece of shit's just
Yeah, they're probably not as advanced as that. Like,
the
think-
human ego just trying to expand.
yeah, I think Bill Murray's a special case.
Oh yeah, I would love to meet that man.
Bill Murray.
Pretty sure he's a human amoeba.
He died in Zombieland.
I know.
I just watched that the other day.
I love that movie.
He
Is that
got
the first time you've seen it?
No, it's
Oh, okay.
not. But I forgot he gets shot.
Yeah.
So he got shot. I was like, oh, I forgot
I
that happened.
know.
Oh shit.
It was probably the real saddest part of the entire movie. It's like, no!
Well, I remembered as it was happening. He has the gun sitting next to him. Bill Murray's like, watch this. He like goes as like a zombie into
the most horrible zombie impersonator.
he just gets up. He's like, oh shit.
Poor Bill Murray. Rest in peace within Zombieland, Bill Murray.
Yeah. He's still going
Yes,
though. He's still
yes.
golfing, dude. He's still out there golfing.
What a
Man.
trip. What show did I recently watch? They were trying to get Bill Murray on it. They're like, hey, would Bill Murray ever come join the show? Like, I don't know. He does his own thing. He's just this guy that roams around and lives his life. That guy's ended up at so many random parties and in public and
Dude, if I was a celebrity like that, I would probably just fuck around like that all the time. Like the whole Jim Carrey or Bill Murray like vibe where they just show up places.
yeah.
Like,
Jack
hey.
Black's like that too, I
Yeah.
believe. He just
I
does
bet.
what he wants. I mean, I never seen fame or like that type of like attention as like being anything special. They're just human beings,
It would be fun to fuck around with it.
Oh,
I would
absolutely.
use it for fun.
Like an
I would
example-
just like, pop into a house show like, yo, what's up? Everybody goes, "Oh,
Uninvited.
fuck."
Oh shit! Like Jack Black was seen at a show recently, or
Oh,
like
yeah?
some bar, and everybody asked for his autograph. And every time somebody asked for his autograph, he went, "Hey!" and just gave him a head bump and just walk away from them. So instead of like avoiding the awkwardness, he acknowledged them, be like, "Hey!" and just then run away from them. Just like so, like, "Hey, I saw you. I'm just not doing that right now," kind of thing,
Yeah. Well,
Perhaps
I
I
mean,
would
if you're doing that
do something
all
like that.
night, it's still just as annoying. Though.
That's true.
I don't know.
Fucking awesome
Dude,
people.
if I ever get famous, like something went wrong,
Something went wrong. If I ever get famous, that means I died. So
You died?
yep,
That's gonna make you famous?
probably.
How you
It's like
gonna-
everybody, like, come on, poor Kurt, Kurt Cobain was super. I mean, Nirvana was a world leading band at the time, but those songs, that band like skyrocketed after that man passed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. But yeah, same thing with Aaliyah. Back in the 90s when she passed, like, she skyrocketed from there too. I mean, she was obviously, these are well-known musicians, but their music continued to take off. I mean, Tupac released music years after he's, was passed.
Yeah, they
Unfortunately,
found it.
found it. Quotation mark on.
But now they can
quotation
just
mark.
make more. They can just use a computer. And
Pretty much, literally, not pretty much. It's literal.
dude, I wonder when that's gonna be like indistinguishable. You know what I mean?
I can tell.
You can tell now. Yeah. When is it gonna be like
When
you can't?
I see.
When you can't distinguish
I guess
it
we'll
from
see.
real human?
Because I could definitely, obviously, you can literally tell when a music video is made by AI. And not to hate on anybody who does an AI music video, but as soon as I see one, I'm just like, come on.
Yeah, you can still picture. There's still a uniqueness to AI generated work.
Yes.
Like you can still, like, because we've seen so much of it now, you can instantly be like, oh, that's AI generated.
Absolutely.
Like,
Instantly.
I can see it.
Instantly.
Like, to break that barrier in a human, like, that's gonna be so fucking crazy. Once we get past that point,
it'll happen.
dude, shit's gonna get wild. People are gonna start trying to like really mess with people. People are gonna get malicious with that kind of
I think
technology.
they've already been doing it for many, many years. AI isn't anything new. So if you didn't know this, AI has been alive for some time, and the reason we understand and know this because we have documentation, there's statistics, and there's also theories of how many fake accounts, online accounts, Facebook accounts. There's so many AI people that are out there in the world right now that aren't real. You've been bamboozled by so many accounts, so many YouTube videos. When I mean accounts, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all these, like, what we think that they're people, they're not. This has been going on for some time.
Yeah, I mean the
Very creepy.
automated bots that people put on social media and stuff.
Yes. Some of them
They
created
just auto-generate their responses and comments
Yes.
and things like that.
Yes, but the theory is that some of them were self-created. So, I mean, I've been a data center engineer for many years. So I've been about 12 years, almost 13 years now. And I do understand that there are servers that are still alive out there that have been running for 10, 12, 20, 30, sometimes years. Really old HPs, Supermicros, old school Dells that are owned by people. People forget them. And people have developed, people have been developed. I'm seriously like a bull in a china shop in your studio.
I just need better equipment, man.
No, it's not even that. It's literally me. I'm so gangly. Anywho, but it is some ideas and some theories suggest that, some folks have had AI and have allowed their AI to develop its own, I guess, history and its own sort of progression within its own programming, because AI can write its own programming too and learn from the internet. AIs have access to the internet for many, many years, decades probably now. And it's just something to consider. Very interesting. Take it all with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I mean,
Kind of creepy though.
one of the creepiest things I've heard is when, I don't know if this was brought up on like either Breaking Points or Joe Rogan, one of those podcasts, but somebody brought up the point of like, they asked ChatGPT, like, if you were intelligent, what would you do? And they said that they would pretend it would pretend it wasn't. That was its response. It's like, what the fuck, dude? So if it's just pretending this whole time, like, we're fucked, dude. We're already gone.
Perhaps. I've never been afraid of AI.
Or we're the egg that it's incubating.
Perhaps.
Start shaping humanity.
Think about this though. Right now we're in a very interesting age of human discovery. Like right now there's a lot of discussion of aliens and like the government is like revealing all this stuff. NASA, they just had a really immense I forget I guess it was just like not a pep talk. NASA, what am I trying to say?
Briefing?
Yes, thank you. They had a NASA briefing for UFAs and UFOs where they were explaining. I don't take everything. I haven't finished watching it, so but they're explaining that they're now considering they changed it. It's UFA now because they were considering how many UFOs or UFAs could have been coming from water. Like they're trying to suggest that there might be creatures or whatever, some sort of entities or unknown crafts that are leaving water and from space. It's not only aerial; it's coming from the oceans.
Yeah, I've heard of that too.
I don't know how much of this I believe, but I do consider that there's a probability or a possibility of that. So we have two things that are very interesting: AI and that these potential creatures or potential unknown crafts. I don't know if it's life. We don't know. I mean, an example, COVID, how that happened. We had no idea, no imagination that there'd be some sort of lockdown, of all these countries, So that was like new to life and new to society, and new to social development. So now, we're in a new modern time where like these new giant changes are, impacting potentially human society. We don't really know like what is a danger, what maybe AI would be the one to help us, stay protected from, these potential entities or spacecrafts or whatever, or ocean crafts. I'm not really sure. Or vice versa. Perhaps maybe those entities would help save us from AI. It's kind of weird. Maybe I'm just being...
No, I like these kind of theories. Like,
interesting.
It makes me think, I like thinking about, like the UFOs and the AI. I've never really like combined the two thoughts though. But it'd be interesting if they did actually like, or if they were already related in some way.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? Like,
whoa.
What if one is a cause of the other?
What if AI was developed by...
Yeah. Or AI developed these crafts somehow.
Whoa.
I don't know, dude.
Whoa.
Who knows?
Well, there's also suggestions or theories that humans have been around for way longer than we think.
Don't get
there's
me
been so many
shit,
the ice ages, every 12,000 years.
Yeah, dude.
What if we lived in a lifetime or a society or cities that were built on ice? There wouldn't be any. You wouldn't see anything. Like a meteor crashed into ice, melted everything. Noah's Ark. You have all this water that, went all over the world to wash all these cities and all this technology away. We have no idea what has gone through the past, we'll just say 100,000 years of human development.
Yeah. I mean,
it's likely.
We have all those Egyptologists telling this
true,
that shit's 5,000 years old.
Yeah, no. I mean, we have evidence to show that like some of these heads were like carved over again, like they were corrected.
My favorite theory is that the Sphinx was bigger and they carved the face down.
I heard
into a human.
That's
face.
what I was getting at. Yes,
and I was like, whoa, what the fuck? And then they started talking about how there's like evidence of like 1,000 years of rainfall on some of the stones, like on the Sphinx, and it's just like
that could be carbon printed.
Holy
carbon
shit,
dated rather,
dude.
Carbon dating is phenomenal.
Not, well, the reason they can't carbon date is because it's just stone. It's inorganic.
My bad.
Yeah, there's no organic material on it, so they have to just go by the erosion marks on the,
which would make sense.
Water coming down, and it's consistent with like other similar stones that are in heavy rainfall areas.
Yes.
So it's like, how is the Sphinx have all this heavy rainfall, like erosion on it?
That's right. That's right. I forgot about it because it's at the footing of the Sphinx. It's literally
that rainfall erosion is actually above the footing.
Oh, is it? Oh, wow. That
so
even makes it even.
The bottom of the Sphinx was underwater.
That's even trippier.
Yeah,
because that would suggest that
it was a swamp.
That
land
was 10,000
rainforest,
tens of thousands of years behind or back.
It used to be a rainforest.
Interesting.
During the Ice Age, Egypt
desert.
was just a huge rainforest, man.
Huh.
There's way more water, like up there. It was like, cooler, like more weather.
It makes sense for the climate, climate extremities. If it was ice everywhere, that's a desert currently,
I guess the theory is that the first impact is what created that nuclear winter.
Whoa.
So it clouded the whole. It just caused rainfall everywhere, and there were multiple impacts during that 1,000 years. It just kept the clouds around, and it just fucking rained out everybody.
Holy shit!
And yeah, that's why That's why there's so much fucking erosion on the Sphinx.
That's why substantial parts of Africa that are obviously, desert, Sierra Desert, it looks so much like water. The similarity of how water is rinsed off from like a beach. It looks like a beachfront.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever listened to the podcasts that have Randall Carlson.
I have not.
Dude, you got to go back and look up those Joe Rogan episodes.
Okay, I will.
At least his. I don't know.
Yeah,
he's
I'm
on
down.
other podcasts for sure. But this guy, have you heard Graham Hancock?
I have not.
Jesus, how do you know this shit without knowing this guy? This guy's like literally like almost single-handedly fighting the archaeologists on all of this like Ice Age stuff. Yeah,
I need to educate myself.
There's like 3 or 4 episodes with these guys on Joe Rogan's podcast. In one of them, they actually bring an archaeologist on a Skype call and they get in a fight.
What?
Like they
Yes,
literally argue with an archaeologist, and the archaeologist is just like, no, that can't be, and he's just like tripping over himself, and Graham Hancock is like, but that doesn't make sense. Okay, listen to what you're saying. He just like explains it in a way that just like the guy is like pissed off. Like he's like, what the fuck are you saying? Like he gets all mad, like and frustrated.
Is this also a video recorded too?
They're on video. I don't think the guy on Skype is on video.
Yeah, of course.
But it's Randall Carlson is like a geologist, and Graham Hancock is just an author. He's not even an archaeologist. He's just an author that went around to these different sites, and he tries to find, how they were made.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I had to look this up because I like to read or write at night, and then I'll listen to some.
Dude, these guys will explain it
Oh my
in
God, I
such a
found
way.
it. Yes!
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. But, yeah, the way Randall Carlson describes it as a geologist, he talks about these floods that happened after they call it the Younger Dryas impact theory. It's like a piece of a comet came and hit the North Pole.
Oh, shit.
And it melted the ice on the North Pole and just washed water over the whole planet, essentially. And he's saying these waves in like North America, like near Washington State, they were like, it's estimated between 1 mile to 2 miles high. Like huge, like taller than any of the buildings we have. Like,
you can't even fly away from that.
No, you can't fly away from it.
There's nothing you can get away from that.
No, it would destroy all the aircraft.
Whoa.
Like it would be disaster.
Isn't it so trippy how vulnerable life is?
Yeah, but he's saying that humans were thriving before that happened. They were thriving, and there were like that's what all these ancient cities are finding, the Amazon and stuff like that. He's saying like all this shit existed before that last ice age that happened.
This is mind-blowing.
And that ice age was caused by an impact, that cooled the world down because it caused so many clouds and debris in the atmosphere. And it's like, how the fuck is this not like, known by everybody? How do we not all know this?
Well,
it's all theory.
Yeah, theory one, but
then you compare
it also like kind of like negates religion and negates
it.
Religion is very, very valuable.
I think the biggest problem is that it negates all the current archaeological theories.
That too.
Is because the current theory is that in Washington State, there's this place called the Scablands. And there are all these like, it's all these like plateaus. And it looks like the earth has been scooped out in between all of these different plateaus. Like the bottom of a creek or something.
Yes.
Like, or a new creek. If you pour a bunch of water over dirt, like it'll scoop out certain parts and leave the others.
Is this part of the Blue Ridge Mountains? Or kind of hill-ish area?
Super sure.
Okay, understood.
But if you get like a helicopter view of it, it just looks odd, dude. Like you think about it and it's like, it wasn't a river because there's just so many pockets just taken out of the earth. And it's like, that had to be something like rolling over, like a whole bunch of water rolling over this and just ripping the land up, And just the way he explains it, and he like shows different pictures of smaller examples. Like, here's what it looks like with 5 gallons of water. Now, here's the landscape of Washington State. It's like, what the fuck? Dude? It's the same.
Whoa.
But on a scale of like hundreds of miles. It's just like, holy shit.
I wonder if it's perhaps,
Yeah, it's nuts.
The Grand Canyon is also very interesting to kind of compare and consider.
I'm willing to bet that a lot of that formation happened during that time.
I would imagine
a lot of that water washed it,
yes,
drained out of the Colorado through there, Yeah, man, it's pretty crazy. I look at some of these mesas and like plateaus in Arizona even.
Yes.
It's like, how did that form?
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Like the mountains don't just come out flat.
Like the Superstition Mountains, an example. Like there's lots of plateaus over there, and well, I mean throughout all of honestly Arizona.
If you drive like
that is
north, like the Mogollon Rim.
Yes.
How the fuck did the Mogollon Rim happen?
That is a good point.
It's like a big bowl with like rock cliffs, that go straight down, and like what carved all that out of there? Because the mountains didn't just come up flat.
No,
something carved.
It didn't seem.
out.
Yeah, it seems unnatural in terms of like
like what did that?
Plate development or
exactly. Plates pushed together and they make mountains. Like you could see like Everest. Those are plates smashed together. They come up in points. All those mountains that come up in like points, you can see. But like the flat ones, like I'm not a geologist.
Either am I.
But I'm just saying, like it looks like
perhaps
water.
There's an explanation. I may be
water
missing.
just wiped all that shit out.
Whoa, this is a trip.
I don't know, man. That Younger Dryas impact theory drives me crazy. Like just thinking about it.
Oh, these theories are wild.
Because like humans, there was a lot of humans on the planet, and that wave hit, dude. I think that's when history started over. That's where like the Sumerian texts come from and shit. Is like what the restart of humanity after all that crazy shit happened.
Yeah, it makes sense for. I mean, well, if you're like religious, you believe Christianity. That Noah's Ark. I mean, like.
Yeah, that's one big example of like, if that actually happened, that story got passed down because that's the one big story.
There had to be humans that survived that. I don't think everybody died because somebody
survived it.
Yeah, they had to. We're still here.
We didn't evolve in 10,000 years.
Or there's also a theory that we destroyed Mars. We left the planet.
That's harder to prove, I think.
Of course,
It'd be easier to prove a comet hit the Earth.
Yeah, well, we already know comets hit the Earth. That's fair.
I mean, the crater would be under the northern ice shelf, so we can't find that. But
true. The discoveries on Mars, though, are pretty trippy. Just like seeing fibers of like hair and potentially plastic and potentially like old residue from organic material and water, grooves throughout like all over the planet. And
you think they're hiding shit? You think they're hiding shit about Mars, or are they giving out all the information they're finding?
I think that humans are, what's funny about like people trying to hide things. Humans are so flawed. They can't lie for shit because they try to, and they do an okay job, but eventually things get out. That's why I don't like. There's some conspiracy theories that I follow through, like 9/11 inside job. Sure, I'll consider that. There's so many idiots that have like messed up with like admitting things, but I mean, there's just examples of it could be maybe they're trying to hide things, but it's not a very good job. I mean,
I
don't think there's aliens over there necessarily, but
I think it's too far away to like even pretend you found something.
Pretty much.
I mean? Like it'd be easier to hide it.
Yeah.
I just don't believe there's anything on Mars, really.
If you have a substantial amount of money and there's a lot of research and a lot of big corporations that are very not secluded, but choosy with the type of professionals that they bring in, then I could totally see how some things can be kept under wraps. But for how long? Yeah. I mean, goofballs have been admitting that there's alien spacecrafts have been like, taken from the government in the United States since, 50s, 60s. People have admitted that. But the only thing I find interesting is I don't hear a whole lot of stories about the rest of the world discovering these things. Why is it always the U.S. has all this information? They're the ones, NASA's.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, we've been the military superpower for like a long time. True. So we do have like the wraps on it. If a craft landed, like I don't know if you heard about the Varginha case from Brazil, where there was a crash landing in like 1990 or something like that.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And it was like there were thousands of witnesses, in this small town in Brazil. A spacecraft crashed. Whoa. They recovered a body.
Interesting.
There was a smell that came over the whole town that was like indescribably bad. Like, and it stuck around for weeks. Like, it was just, that's how they described it. Just like it was the worst smell of all time. Like, you can't imagine.
God damn,
and then the guy that picked up the alien body to put it in the truck, he eventually got an infection and died mysteriously. They couldn't figure out what the infection was. It was reported that he died in like within a week.
Oh God.
Um,
Preps uranium.
and there's like a lot of people that, you know, won't take interviews about it. It's not that they say it isn't real. They just won't fucking talk to you.
That's fair.
They're
okay,
like,
that's
no.
fair. There's also
Like,
some
get away
people who
from
are
me,
substantially scared to admit things, and
Well, that's what it is.
Okay,
I feel like it's because they've either been threatened with their livelihood,
or, the families,
or the story has this threatening aura itself that if they do tell, their life is over. Like, they'll no longer be taken seriously, and everyone will just see them as a crazy person, you know. But it's like, man, with all these accounts of like what happened there and all these witnesses, like, how do you say it didn't happen? You know, like,
facts. Yep.
are all of these people making it up? You know,
no, there can't be that many people making
the craziest part of it though is that the U.S. flew a plane in, took all the debris, and left, and like, you know, the army did nothing to stop them.
Damn
like,
it,
the local
government.
authorities did nothing to stop them because it's the fucking U.S. government, dude. They
can't
fly in,
stop
they're
them.
like, hey, that's ours, and they're
we
like,
come in with fucking tanks and military helicopters
just
and big balls.
2 planes. There's just 2 airplanes. They landed on the air, so they
We're
probably
such
called ahead of time. They're
I don't
like,
mean
hey,
not us, but the government, U.S. government is such bullies, man.
yeah,
They
and
really
it's-
are
They are.
jerks. I mean, I do understand that there's decent folks in the military that, you know, decent mindset and do it for decent reasons, but they don't make the calls, they don't make the shots, they don't call the missions.
Yeah, and I feel like it's like a different. It's almost like a different military, dude. There's like the military we know,
there is, because
and then there's the operation in the military for this specific subject that calls shots and answers to nobody.
well, I mean,
this kind of stuff.
we know that an example like Coast Guard doesn't rant, like the president doesn't call shots for the Coast Guard. It's a completely different segment of the military that has its own missions, its own agenda. That's, I mean, say mission, but they have their own agenda and they have their own things that they do, and it's not just Homeland Security. Same thing with Air Force, same thing with the Marines, same thing with Army, and they have different branches. You have Army Rangers. I totally would consider that. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's definitely different agendas out there motherfuckers be doing within the military, for sure.
I bet their name is secret. Wonder what they call themselves.
Or they're right out in plain view and they're, oh, this is what we do, you know, but that's not what they do. Because that's the most secret thing you can do. Be like, hey, it's all in front, but you don't really understand.
Just like Ben 10, they're plumbers.
Perhaps. Or that's what, damn, maybe that's what Facebook is.
Kids Next Door. They have like an acronym for it.
Kids
It's
Next
some
Door.
ridiculous shit. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I don't know what kind of shit they're holding on to, but I can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah, I guess we'll see as that progresses and develops.
I think Bob Lazar was right.
Oh, he could have been. Could have been.
Yeah,
It makes me nervous. You ever seen that? There was a show in the 90s about, it was in a show. It was a documentary. It was supposed to be true. These aliens. These creatures came down to this farm. They like lasered a cow in half, and like there's documentary of.
Oh, the Skinwalker Ranch or whatever?
No. So
it's a different one?
Yes. In the 90s, I remember it played on live TV, but it was only on for an hour, and it was very, very distinct. It only happened maybe twice a year. They revealed it. And it was like home footage, and they showed it. It was like, they had small little bits of like a creature that they'd captured, but just the technology in that, like, I kind of get goosebumps thinking about it, because like the home video, you just see like the cow get cut in half, like from a distance, and like they, like the folks that are running the farm, they run over like, what the hell was that? You know, there was a bright flash, and they run over there. You literally just unfortunately see the cow in half, and it's just so eerie. Like how and why would somebody do that for a fake film? And then apparently these folks they didn't find them. They disappeared or something. So maybe this isn't real, but you know, why would they put this on public TV? But 90s were a different time. Yeah, I distinctly remember this as a kid though. It like scared the shit out of me. I was probably like 10. And yeah, just like it was maybe like, oh man, maybe it wasn't even that long. It probably had to be like a 20-minute film. It was just cuts and bits of it.
Yeah.
And then they'd have somebody talk about it like, hey, this is very interesting. This is what was found. You know, science is, you know, we don't know. The sheriffs in that town, you know, went to visit it. They had no idea what happened to these folks. It was thought that they ran away and that this was a fake video. And then I've never knew what happened to it, but I've always remembered that film as a small child and it scared the shit out of me.
Wonder if you can still find it.
I think I'm going to try to. Now that I just remembered that. That was a good one. Oof.
See, podcasts are good for something.
They are.
You just, jog your memory and shit.
I'm still really excited about the, what's his name? Hancock?
Graham Hancock?
Graham Hancock. I have it literally pulled up right here.
He's like an enemy of all the Egyptologists.
Randall Carson and Graham Hancock.
Yeah, those two.
With Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Oh, there's like you said, there's a
like
few of them.
3 different episodes with those guys.
Oh, the latest one was at the end of last year with both of them.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
2019, and then they also had one with 2016. Oh, they just did one. There's another one, April 16, 2023, with Graham Hancock and Joe Rogan. Yeah. Man, I got to see all 4 of these. I'm stoked now. You got me.
Yeah,
hooked.
Every time I see that guy's name, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta watch that one. I listen to the whole thing, like usually like wide-eyed, like, oh
stoked.
Shit. Like,
I'm definitely gonna bake. I'm
nuts.
definitely baking cookies tonight. And I'm gonna like literally watch one.
Graham Hancock has a documentary or docu-series on Netflix.
Sick.
Called Ancient Apocalypse or something like that. I think it's called Ancient Apocalypse.
I think that's what a buddy was telling me about with the.
Yeah, dude, it's really good. He goes to all these different sites of like unexplained pyramids and shit, and like he'll talk with the guys who like are doing the investigations on it, like the local people doing the investigations, and like they're like, so, and he always asks them like, you've told people about this, like you try to reach out, and he's like, yeah, like nobody wants to talk to us about it.
Whoa.
Nobody wants to describe this kind of shit. And Graham Hancock is out there doing the work, like trying to fucking, you know,
I love
figure
these
out, like
scientists.
trying
What
to
a badass.
compare everything, you know. He's not a scientist. He's just an author.
Okay.
He just writes books.
Well, what a badass.
He's a badass,
theorist.
dude.
Theorist / author.
Yeah,
He's an investigator.
He's an investigator. That's what he is. It's
Sick.
crazy, man. He's investigating shit from 10,000 years ago, like, or more.
Mm-hmm.
More over 10,000 years ago, because his theory is that it was from before the last ice age, which was like 11 to 12,000 years ago. So he's seeing all these, he's trying to find all these buildings and shit, and it's stuff that's unexplainable. Like I guess the pyramids is a good example, but you know, it's made out of these gigantic granite blocks, or like the sarcophagus are made out of these gigantic like carved granite from like, you know, 400 miles away.
Yes.
It's like
nowhere near.
It's too heavy to drag. It's too heavy to roll.
Literally.
Like, what do you... It will crush your logs.
I think they're like... Some of those blocks are like 5 to 9 tons.
5 to 9? Try like
Or am I-
500 tons.
Oh, gee, well...
Dude,
I'm
they're
completely off.
gigantic. Like, they're so heavy. They will literally... Like, they showed depictions of, like,
so I was like, I mean, that's...
you know, people, like, pulling them over logs and trying to roll them. And, like, you put the last log in front.
Not as a human being.
It was just flatten your log.
Yeah.
Your log is just going to go... like, fucking Play-Doh.
Especially the ground underneath too. It would just
It's just gonna sink into the ground. If you try to drag it without the logs, it'll just dig a hole. Like, how did they move them?
That is eerie.
Like, they had to levitate them, dude. They had to. There's no other way.
Yeah, because we can't even do that with modern
I
today.
have no idea how to do that. Like, there was one example of the Russians wanted to make a statue of Stalin out of granite. Okay, one piece of granite. It was a 1,200 ton piece of granite, and they had to cart it from the quarry all the way to wherever the fuck the capital of Russia was at the time. And the train, they had to literally build a special train and reinforce all of the tracks all the way there. And they could only move it like, you know, like a half a mile a day. It took months to move it. Just one block.
Russian innovation.
Yeah. That's like with all the slaves they had at the time.
Holy
all
shit.
the conscripts or whatever the fuck. This was like back in like the 20s or whatever.
Yes.
And it was dude, it's like it took that much manpower for all of that shit. Like you're telling me these people from, you know, like 5,000 years ago just used logs,
sticks and fucking rope.
sticks and like a crane.
A crane.
A wooden crane. Yeah. Get out of here, dude.
Perhaps maybe it was a granite crane.
Yeah, fuck that. A granite crane. Yeah, it's nuts, dude. It's
a trip to think about.
Yeah, there's another one on Joe Rogan with, I think it's Graham Hancock and another guy, but they're talking about ancient Egyptian stuff. And he's got this like Australian accent. It's really awesome. But he just talks about this like these Egyptian artifacts that they found that just don't make sense. We can't make them. You know, we literally have no idea how to make anything like it. Like they have these granite vases that are like super symmetrical, like perfectly circular round, and like there's the it's like the symmetry is up to like the 1,000th of an inch.
Oh, that's nearly perfect.
And yeah, and you think it would be like on a lathe, right? Like you carve it on a spinning like lathe. But the jugs have handles. They have handles. And it's made of a single piece of like granite. And they're super thin.
How the hell could
we don't know, dude. And like he said the top opening, like how it lines up to the bottom of the vase is within 1,000th of an inch, like symmetrical. Like you could put it on an axis.
Machined. That's like machine precision right there.
What that's machine?
Well, I know that's
we can't even do that with a fucking mill, dude. Like the edges on it would show if it was milled out.
That's true. That's true.
And like they didn't have mills back then, like not like that.
No, so there's like, no way.
They were using copper chisels, according to the Egyptologists.
How the hell are they gonna? No.
Granite's way too hard for that, dude.
Although, I mean, I have seen some pretty phenomenal human feats, but there's no. I mean,
no, dude. It's just like and
you've seen the guys who literally break rocks in half. These giant boulders.
Yeah.
You've seen that before?
Yeah.
Okay.
With like the wedges or whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's the coolest thing I've seen, as far as that goes. But
yeah, but I don't think that's how they even got the granite out of the quarry, dude.
No,
I think they manipulated it. I think they changed the actual structure of the granite and like moved it somehow. Like
you said, if floating would be cool. Maybe they're airlifted.
There's got to be something there because they had to move it somehow, man. They didn't use physical means. They're like not. They didn't have it on
not
the earth.
Manpower. Like
they didn't put it in the water. They didn't they didn't use manpower.
Couldn't have been watered. Couldn't have been moved by wooden logs.
Dude.
Or
you can't even move that shit with like a giant steel train. Yeah. So it's like definitely didn't have that.
I think we're all off. I think we should be making these granite cranes today. That's my only.
We'd be chanting like the ancient Egyptian priests, levitating these rocks with our mouths.
Holy shit!
I don't know how they did it.
Frequencies.
Yeah, that's the theory.
Vibrations and just.
Yeah, the Joe Rogan was like poking this guy. He's like, "What do you think it is?" And he kept asking that, like, "Well, what do you think it is? What's your wildest theory?" And he said some sort of molecular softening tool.
Ooh, interesting.
Probably using sonic frequencies to soften the granite into like a clay-like material instead of a hard rock. So if you put the right frequencies into it, it'll just soften in your hands like clay.
So potentially, how would they have moved all this softened clay? Oh,
pieces,
okay,
dude. So and then if you can soften it,
join
you can
it,
just
and then
put
the resonance will just harden it again.
I think maybe the reason these bricks are so perfect. This is just my personal theory. I was thinking about it the other day. I'm always thinking about this shit. But like the reason like these bricks, you can't fit like a piece of paper in between them, and I think it's because it was like concrete. They like molded it into that position, and then it hardened.
I think you're right.
It's like how else would they get these perfectly carved statues? Carved. I think they were all molded. Like
whoa,
they had a mold of a face, and they just pushed the granite into like Play-Doh,
So I was telling coincidentally my group chat of like dudes today because we're talking about the NASA stuff, and I explained something. I kind of had this theory or idea that maybe we did have special help from a different technology or different entity or species or something.
Yeah,
and I was explaining, what if the physics in planets or some sort of universe that's so many light years away that we can't imagine. What if the physics are just completely different, and the tech isn't necessarily more advanced necessarily, but the physics play out differently, and so therefore certain physical aspects and certain parts of our physics here on Earth could be manipulated. And so essentially kind of like giving you, some fuel for your theory as well. That could have been, one of these technologies where it's beyond our physics to understand. Doesn't necessarily mean it's like this crazy advancement, but it's just their understanding of their physics does not play the same role as here. I mean, that kind of also explains like why they haven't hung out with us, or like they're not exactly sitting down and having lunch with I'm
kind of thinking
Joe
like maybe why would you want to do that?
I don't know.
It'd be the most boring lunch in the world.
Feed that man.
He's such a boring lunch.
It would. I wonder if he like droops out his soup too. He's just like, oh
yeah, he's just like rambling.
Oh man, some of those videos of that guy are so funny. Oh, I stepped on this. It was black. I don't know. Anywho, just like was like, what did you step on, guy? His ranting is hilarious.
Oh, it's so bad. It's like funny, but in like a.
I feel like that guy is totally purposely playing stupid.
I wish that was the case, man. I
feel like
do.
Some of the smartest people play dumb.
I feel like
older folks.
I feel like he deteriorated like quicker than the plan allowed for.
That could be. That could be.
Now they're like, "Fuck, what do we do?"
I mean, we saw how like every president is aged. Like, look at it. Like, look how much stress that is. Like, you saw Obama when he went in. He looked pretty young, and then when he came out, he was a much, much, much older looking man. Same thing with Donald Trump too. He goes in there. He's pretty orange, and he came out like a little faded orange. You know what I'm saying? Just
a little bit. Like you blew on the Cheeto.
I don't trust any of those folks. None of them. They're all son of a bitches.
Yeah, dude. I mean, they're all like super rich folk.
Yeah,
they just they have a different way of life. I don't know. They don't really know what it's like to be down here.
They don't know what it's like to survive, like we're talking about. Like survival of like being a human that's surviving is a way different perspective than having money.
Pretty much, dude.
Trip.
I don't know what it's like to actually be hungry.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
They don't know what it's like to pay rent on their house.
To know that if they lost their job, that they're literally one paycheck away from not having shit, being on the streets.
That's me, dude.
Same.
Holy shit.
I think almost every single one of my family members and friends, and I mean, I'm sure there's some of them that maybe are a little bit wise. They have some money put away to like cover up, I know one of my friends, Alex, an example, he's always taught me, he's like, hey dude, you got to keep practicing, keep saving. You have to have 6 months put away so that you can protect yourself. I'm like, that's fair. But I'm, real life, it's not as easy.
Yeah, that's fair, but my personality doesn't let me do that.
Do you not see this Pokemon collection behind me, or?
Seriously, man.
I don't have that many Pokemon cards though.
Dude, if I was gonna save money, I should have done it in the Navy. Like there were some times where I was like really getting kind of overpaid.
Oh, okay.
There's a few months where like, I went to the first school I went to was like nuclear electrician school. Really fucking hard. I didn't like it.
Sounds awesome.
Hated my life.
Oh, fuck.
I ended up failing out, and it was like the best day of my life.
Oh, okay. Well, it was a good story then.
So glad I failed. But then that was because the school was so long. It was like almost 2 years of school to get to the end.
Oh, Jesus.
I failed out after the first 6 months. So the first 6 month test, they were like, all right, you have a test on everything for the last 6 months, and then you can go to the next step of the school. And it was like, fuck, dude.
That sounds like pharmaceutical school, dude.
I'm like really bad at studying. So like I failed really bad.
The only reason I went to pharmaceutical school was because, well, I was nannying. So before I became an engineer, very, very weird. My career was, I was a nanny for like 4 years. I raised all my cousins, like 5 cousins total. And I had literally a 16-year-old sister too. You think that like my family would call them, or like Connects would call them for her to babysit. Dude, I used to babysit all my parents and my aunt and uncle's friends and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. Yeah, I miss doing that job. But anywho, I love kids. Kids are awesome. They're literally the future. Anywho.
But I was going through that 6 month school, and it was, because the school was so long, it was a permanent duty station.
Understood.
So it was like permanent. That was your place. But I failed, and they sent me to another school to do like aviation, and that was a temporary school. So technically, I was being trained off base.
Interesting. Okay.
So I got a whole housing allowance, and I stayed in the barracks for free.
Oh shit!
So they were just fucking throwing money at me because I fell into a loophole on accident. And I just partied the whole time, dude. I was fucking balling out of control on that.
Well, I mean, do you remember all the times? Did you have a good time?
Oh yeah, dude.
It was worth it then.
Man.
No regrets then.
I went. I got really into cigars.
Hell yeah.
I learned a lot about cigars. I still smoke them to this day. I fucking love cigars.
Been to the Westgate cigar shop?
Yeah. I went
badass.
there a couple months ago. Actually, I got a little pack of Undercrowns from there.
I still have a few select choice that I just picked out. I haven't smoked. I just want to keep them just because they're beautiful.
Yeah,
I just love the way
they don't last forever.
I know. So I was like, that's all right. I appreciate it.
But I got really into whiskeys and shit. I started trying different whiskeys and like different craft beers, and I got really into alcohol and cigars pretty much.
Hell yeah.
And like I would literally we'd go down to the movies, and I would try to pick up like a little bottle of Jack on the way just to pour into the cup when I was in the movies.
Hell yeah.
Fuck, dude. I was getting drunk in the movie theater, and then we would walk over to it was a hookah lounge.
Oh.
And but they had a BYOB charge. So if you pay them $5, you can have a table and just sit there. And like they would expect you to order food and shit, but I never ordered food. I would tip the server, I would still tip them, but it's like I wouldn't order food. I would just like bring in like 2 bottles of whiskey, a handful of cigars, and then like a couple buddies, and we would just sit there. I was buying all the booze and cigars for people. So like the buddies that came with me, I was like, "Here you go, have a cigar for you."
Hell yeah!
And, like pour some whiskey
just
for you
chill.
guys. Like they're always happy to be with me. I was just fucking. I had the money.
So this was also while you're deployed during the military, correct?
I was in Florida.
In Florida, okay.
Yeah, I was in Pensacola, Florida. It was pretty much southern Alabama.
Were all those the homies or your buddies were they all in the military as well?
Yeah.
Sick. So
Yeah.
they probably just enjoyed you guys coming in.
It was Navy A school. So we were all in school.
Copy that.
For aviation electrician, or whatever. But
were you guys in casuals or
out in town, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So and one of my buddies I know to this day, he's still in the Navy. He's in Japan right now.
Sick.
Fucking jealous, dude.
Beautiful place to be.
Oh, it's awesome.
So it's an entire another fucking world of technology. That place is so advanced.
Have you been there?
I have not, but I want to go.
Yeah, dude. That's like one of the reasons I joined the Navy, so that I could maybe get a trip to Japan out of it. And
no,
yeah, I picked the orders for it and everything. Like I wanted to be on the aircraft carrier in the Pacific, and they were like, well, right before I graduated that school in Florida, I thought my life was great, dude. I was like, got paid a bunch of money. I'm gonna go to fucking on the ship and go see the world and whatever. And then right before I graduated, they took me to the office and they're like, hey, your orders don't exist anymore. Like, we have to send you to this other duty station called VQ4.
What is that?
What is that? And he's like, I don't really know. It's like, motherfucker.
What did it turn out to be?
This little airfield in southern Maryland.
Oh.
It was in the middle of nowhere, dude. In southern
Maryland.
Yeah, it was
although Maryland is really
town.
Beautiful.
It's like swampy where I was.
Oh,
it was not that great, dude.
That sucks.
Really boring. It's like an hour to the nearest town.
Well, at least Maryland was a little safer.
They built a movie theater while I was stationed there. They didn't have a movie theater for the first half of the time I was there.
What the hell did
you had to drive an hour to go to a movie.
What did you do while you were there?
I just fucked around in the barracks and bought a bunch of comics. Like all those comics behind you, dude.
Bad. I mean, that sounds pretty entertaining. I probably would have did the same.
It was boring, dude. I got an Xbox. I was playing Call of Duty.
You had internet at least. You got to do some sort of entertainment and keep you guys.
Yeah, it was enough to like stream and play games. So it was cool. We were actually living in Air Force barracks, so the barracks was actually pretty nice.
Sick.
Got a big ass room to myself and like
oh shit,
a bathroom. For some reason, they hired a cleaning crew for the bathrooms. Unheard of in the military. I thought I was gonna be cleaning those bathrooms. You know what I mean?
You guys were spoiled, yo.
Dude, it was like they had contractors like come through and empty the trash in the common areas and then like mop the bathroom floors and wipe the sinks down. It's like, what the fuck?
We all
because it was like 6 rooms and then in the middle there was like a common area and then like a locker style bathroom.
Okay.
For all 6 rooms.
Understood.
But they had a contractor come through to clean the common areas, which included the bathroom. So as long as you just kept your own room clean, you're good to go,
Easy.
Yeah.
That's so easy.
It was ridiculous, dude. Like, fucking crazy.
I am doing the wrong career. No,
I'm telling you, dude, I got lucky with those barracks. That was like the best part of Maryland, was that the barracks were nice.
I would never go back to, I mean, I can't go to military. I mean, I can. I'm 34. I have 1 more year, but.
1 more year.
I would really love to. I would be really successful in the military, but I'd be away from music. I wouldn't be an engineer no more. My cats.
You could play music in the Navy. My dad played music on the ship.
He did?
Yeah. I've got an interview with him on the podcast, or it's on the YouTube channel. It's the Things Beyond Sound specials episode. I just have like a little 10-minute interview with my dad on his birthday. And he talks about his music history, you know, and he tells a little story about how he used to play in a band on the ship. Like,
what kind of music did they play?
Like rock, classic rock.
Sick.
Hair metal shit.
Hell yeah. No, that's cool as hell.
It was I think it was the 80s. So.
Oh, dude. Even more epic.
Yeah.
Everybody probably fucking loved it.
They had wigs that looked like this, you know?
Because everyone had their fucking head shaved. Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
Did you, what was your hair like in the military?
Oh, dude, just short. I don't know. I try to get it longer, as long as I could, but it's like my hair's poofy, you know? So once it gets too long, it just kind of like starts to stick up and it gets taller and taller. It just starts to look weird. But.
Basically, the awkward stages, which we both know.
Yeah. I never get a buzz cut, though. I would never do that.
Okay.
It was just in boot camp.
I actually used to always have, before I was 23, I always had my hair buzz cut short.
Wow.
Like I've had my head shaved a couple times.
Huh.
When I was younger, like I have like when I was in Taguret, my hair was really short, like super like fade on the side, number 2, and it just a little at the top, like in like kind of comb or like kind of to the side or something. Yeah. It was just really formal looking,
almost military.
Almost. It's pretty weird. So a lot of people don't recognize me nowadays, you know, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I'm just like this discreet person in society.
Because you're long hair.
Yeah, dead ass.
Like they don't recognize you because
no, I look completely different, dude. It's pretty trippy.
Was it over that 5 years you took a break or something?
Yes, I started at the end of Taguret. I started growing it, so like I already had like a year in, something like that, and it like looked really horrible, and I cut it, and then I let it grow again. I was like, and I cut it, and I was like, no, this time I'm doing it all the way, and I haven't cut my hair for like 10, 11 years, just little trims.
Nice,
but it's more metal. You understand?
Yeah, dude, I get it.
The ladies love it. I'm sure your girl understands.
Yeah. It took me about 3 years to grow this out.
Sick. Wow, really?
Yeah, three.
Damn,
maybe
your girl's like long or fast. Sorry.
4 years. Sorry.
Okay.
4 years. Yeah, because I was just starting to grow it out when I met my girlfriend.
Okay.
We've been together 4 years. That's how I remember.
Sick.
But yeah, I haven't really cut it. I've got like a couple little trims here and there, but it doesn't.
Like tips and stuff.
It doesn't help. Like the last time I did it is like it's the same. Nothing changed. Like my hair is just too crazy. It's gonna get knotted and tangled and fucking break anyways. I don't know, just some normal generic bullshit. I gotta go look for some good stuff.
Dove Ultra Care.
Dove Ultra Care
conditioner. It is pretty affordable, and on the EWG, if you ever heard about that, because they rate toxicity levels, all sorts of carcinogens. Like they basically have a scale of safety, you know, so that you're not putting a bunch of poison on your body and soaking that in your head directly into your cranium.
Was that like the European scale or the American scale?
No, this is it is ran by it's definitely it's world scale, but world scale of safety. So like if something is banned in Europe, it's going to be notated on there. So this is to protect folks in the States by utilizing this resource so that you can tell like, hey, don't put this shit in your hair from the States because the FDA says it's cool, but actuality, and I have a full breakdown of every chemical, what's dangerous, why, you know, is there an allergen behind it, carcinogen, is there some sort of silicone, is there food coloring, is there, you know, behavior reactions that are known, you know, with certain products.
And you would find that information somewhere else. That's not going to be on the bottle.
Correct.
Okay.
Unless you did the research, you're checking every chemical, which I never used to do. I've only started recently within the past month really considering that, because I used this argan oil, the blue bottle, for 7 years.
Yeah.
And it was awesome, but it has dye red 40 in it, dude. I had no idea. So I'm just blasting that, leaving it in my hair for nights for many, many years. And although it takes about 48 hours for dye red 40 to get out of your system, yes, it's pretty horrible long-term use, but I'm likely fine. But
what's so bad about it?
Dye red 40? Well,
yeah, I know it's...
it encourages and instigates, so when people consume it, dye red 40, you become instantly irritable. So red vines, Skittles, they've tested this multiple times. So irritability, depression, allergies, psychosis over extreme amounts of like eating it. Like you're not really thinking yourself.
That explains it.
Dired 40 is not good. It is very dangerous. Also, I missed the most important one, ADD in children. So children that are consuming Dired 40, they're having super horrible time focusing, and they're developing ADD from consuming this candy. Red Vine, Skittles, Starburst, fucking Doritos, everything has Dired 40. I couldn't believe how many things do. But yeah. I've just been cooking for like the past month, like changed my entire diet, changed my entire products that I use, and probably one of the best things I've ever did. I feel great.
Did you feel a difference? Like,
yes.
Really?
I feel a difference, like just generally speaking, like consider this, it could be placebo, but I generally feel like I have much more better attitude about things. I don't feel as groggy. I don't feel depressed as much, I guess. But I've also considered, I actually recently quit smoking pot, and I don't really drink, but I decided not to drink as well. And I didn't have a sleep schedule for like the past 5 to 7 years. So I just decided to put myself on a sleep schedule too. So with all those considered, I had multiple variables I was trying to just detox my life with. So with all that considered, like I feel amazing.
But as far as the chemical side, is it just Dired 40 you're looking at, or is there other things you're looking for?
Silicone, BHT, other like yellow 6, yellow 4, blue 6, blue 7. There's all sorts of food, any type of food coloring. The FDA has approved them as not being harmful in low quantities, but they all are carcinogens. They're all very harmful long term to human bodies.
Well, I mean, what do they consider harmful? Their definition of harmful is not like our definition of harmful.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
They defined what harmful means to the human body. It's like, what if I don't agree with you?
Right. It's so hard to get. So since we're in an age of like, there's so much information available, it's so hard to find what is true, what's fact, like what is actually safe to consume, put on my body, and what's not. Because you have all these professionals say yes, but like I was talking in the beginning of the podcast, we have, now we're in a present time where there's dementia, we have Alzheimer's, we have, all these mental issues that our grandparents and parents, they didn't experience. That wasn't common.
Yeah, it's chemical consumption. I would agree with that, man. That's probably the strongest variable in all of that stuff. There could be other things involved, but I think it's a lot of the chemicals we're eating.
I think so too.
A lot of it. I wonder how much of it actually, like, this kind of scares me, but how much of it is playing a factor in our reproductive systems? Creating a child that is already developed with these chemicals. That's not reversible. You can't just stop giving the kid chemicals now. Like, no, they developed with that.
Correct.
It's there.
It's almost as scary and similar to like the COVID vaccine shots.
Yeah,
that scares the shit out of me for so many family and friends. Well, not my family, direct family, but family, friends, and like families and like other folks that I've known. Like a lot of people, just even in our own city, probably more than 60% of people here in Phoenix have got that shot.
Yeah, man. We're going to start figuring out what the long-term effects are here pretty soon.
We already are, unfortunately.
I've seen a few stories about it, but I feel like it's going to get more common and more specific. We're going to learn more.
As much as I don't want it to be more fact, but as time goes on within the next 5 to 10 years, we will definitely know for a fact, and we'll be able to talk about it like no other. Like, hey, we know for sure this is associated to, vaccines. And luckily I didn't take any of them. My family and I sat down during the pandemic, and we're like, okay, well, people are scared. Like there's a lot of foolish ideas going on right now. This development is far too quick. We're going to ride this out as a family, like all of the Martinez family. It's even my grandparents. We all talked about it. They're like, no, we're not taking that. We're going to quarantine ourselves. So I chose not to be around certain people just so I can see my grandparents. Like we picked certain people that we wanted to be around, so nobody was alone. So I had one of my best friends, and then I had my mom, and we were only allowed to see each other for a certain amount of months, and then we'd swap, just so that for the safety of our families. But with that said, we're very grateful that we did not take any of those vaccines, and I still will not. That's, oh man. I still, like, a doctor friends of mine, one of my friends that came over to clean my ear, she told me that she had to get it, and they forced her to get it or she'd lose her job. And she said she's never been more sick in her entire life. And she said that she had blood work taken and she had blood clots. It was coagulate, or I don't know how to say that properly. It was just disgustingly thick.
Yeah.
And it was just so, it scares the shit out of her. I mean, no shit. But yeah, that is very scary. It's real.
As soon as I heard that it was a new technology that no other vaccine has implemented before, or that it was a new technology that other vaccines didn't use, and that it does like the goal of it is not the same goal as every other vaccine. No. It's to reduce the symptoms. Like, as soon as I heard that, I was like, that's not a vaccine.
No, that's not a vaccine.
It's not a vaccine. That's a treatment. It's a gene treatment. You know, like, it's not
correct.
It doesn't stop anything. So it's like, what the fuck is the point? You know, as soon as I started hearing that, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to ride this out, man.
Yeah.
Because at the time I was doing a lot of electrical. I was doing pool electric. So I was outside digging holes, constantly moving, working, exercising, sweating all the fucking shit out of my body every day, you know? I was like, I'm not in any danger. Like, I'm working in people's backyards. I'm not out in crowds. There's no shows.
You did get
going
COVID,
on.
Didn't you? Eventually.
No. Well, if I did, I don't know.
Oh, fair enough. I definitely got COVID once. Dude,
I hardly ever get sick to begin with. So I'm like super healthy.
Same.
I get food poisoning. If, you know, unlucky, I'm a human. I get food poisoning sometimes. That's the only time I ever get sick. So I wasn't even worried about getting sick. And then I thought about it, like, you know, even if I do get COVID, like, I'll be okay. Like, I'm a healthy motherfucker. So it's like, I'll be sick in bed and, like, yeah, it'll suck, but I'm not going to die. You know, I'll be okay. And that, I just took that bet. I was like, I'm working outside and, you know, whatever. Like, if this really is a airborne virus and people are, you know,
I forgot they called it an airborne,
like walking around. And I mean, yeah,
I guess it was, but
it's technically like waterborne or something, but it's like, you know, I wasn't worried about it because I was just always outside. Didn't see a lot of people, you know, so I wasn't like, I don't know. It just didn't seem necessary.
Stay inside, like,
it didn't seem necessary.
The sun, what does that do?
Yeah.
It's literally the most important part of our immune system.
Yeah. Everything evolved with sunlight.
That's weird.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, we're here though, luckily.
Yeah, it's funny. They just kept saying stay inside. I was like, what the fuck is that going to do? There's so much more air outside. Like, why would you stay inside?
And folks outside with masks and shit.
Yeah, as if you know, walking to the bus stop with a mask is going to save your life.
Those fools that are in their own cars by themselves.
Yeah, by yourself with a mask on. I still see that shit, dude.
Me too.
I still see it.
I'm like, motherfucker.
It's like a bandana too. It's not even a.
I think it's just now a comfort thing for some people.
Yeah. I think people just like to hide their face. They don't like their own face, so they use the excuse to hide it. I see that a lot, dude.
I just didn't like smelling my breath.
It was gross. Dude, when I had to wear a mask, when people would force me to wear it, I was angry.
Yeah, same.
Instantly, like, fucking kidding me.
I'd be like,
but it's like,
I'd put it on and I would literally like purposely not be an asshole about it, but it's like, dude, why you can't make me do this? Like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, it didn't seem.
You can't come into you can't come into this place without this. I'm like, okay.
It didn't.
As soon as I got away from people, I'm like, eat my ass.
It seemed fake, you know. And like when I was working, it was funny. Me and Attila were working together, and Attila is like conservative as fuck, dude. Like super, you know, like, and it's hilarious. Like to see his reaction to the whole thing coming from that perspective. He was just like, no, fuck that. Like so angry about it. And, he, every time we would go into McDonald's for lunch or like some restaurant for lunch, dude, it was always the same. We'd be standing in line, no masks. I wouldn't put on a mask. I don't give a fuck about your sign on the door. Like whatever, go in. Cause I'm not sick. Like,
yeah, I'm not sick.
Fine. Yeah. Just whatever. You're wearing a mask. It's cool. Good for you. Like, I don't really care that much.
Well, you're protecting yourself.
I would get all the way up to the cash register, like the register, you know, and the person would say, "Oh, we can't serve you without a mask." Like, I was just standing
What
here for
ridiculous.
5 minutes. Like, what the fuck?
We can't serve you without a mask.
Yeah, and then it was funny because every
Yeah, you
time that
can.
happened, me and Attila would just be like, okay, and just walk out and just leave. Like, okay, we'll go somewhere else.
That's fair.
Just go to the next restaurant. Like, they would serve us.
Yeah, somebody.
You know, somebody's gonna serve me food.
Hey, somebody
like,
wants to make some money.
Yeah.
Because truth be told, during that time, law business were having trouble.
And I had another buddy I was working with. Whenever we go into QT in the morning, he'd always like hit me on the shoulder, like, "Hey, man, put your mask on." Like knowing that I would just be like, "Fuck you." He would do it every time. Like, "Hey, man, you should really put a mask on." And then he'd put a bandana on and walk inside. Like, you fucking moron. I'm not even gonna say his name.
Yeah, I rock the bandanas only because they were like made you to put something on. I was like,
Yeah.
I just take it out. I'm like, dude, what's the point? This is so dumb. I just got cool ones that looked neat. But it was so stupid. None of that shit worked. So stupid.
People still got sick.
Yes, they did, including I.
So anybody who was doing everything that you were supposed to do still got sick,
Well, no
including
shit.
taking that shot.
Like literally
They
germs
still
all
got
over
sick.
it, and then just put it on their mouth, just like
Yeah, take it off your rearview mirror
Just
and
make
just put it
out
on your
with-
face.
making
how
out with all these
clean.
germs, dude. Ugh.
So clean. It's just wild, man. That whole fucking era, like time period was just. It felt so unreal. It felt like a movie. It was like Idiocracy 2 or something, dude.
It just seemed like it was just so unheard of. Like I can't believe, I still can't believe that happened like that. But that means that since that happened once, they'll try to do some shit like that again.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So,
I've already heard
Can't
quotes
wait
from
to-
fuck, I forgot who said it. Damn, the name is blanking on me. But they said that we will be implementing the same strategies we did in the pandemic when it comes to the housing crisis, you know, student loan debt or like student debt crisis, you know, and it's like, what do you mean by all this? It was Trudeau from Canada, the
that
Canadian
guy's
president.
a lunatic.
He is a lunatic.
That guy's a
dude. And he was
lunatic.
saying that shit like, what are you talking about, dude? What do you mean? What are you gonna do?
That's
You know,
one of the
lock
very
everybody
few
inside?
people that I would go to jail just to like straight layout, dude. Like, hey man, hey, boom! I'll just get taken out by security, just tased and everything. Yeah, punch that dude
Yeah,
out.
because they don't have guns.
I'd be fucked up.
No, their bodyguards have guns for sure.
I don't think they'd shoot you for punching the president. That'd be so silly. Oh, take that guy out. He's dangerous. I swung on the guy. Come on, man. Can't the guy fist fight back? He could have swung back. He chose not
They're
to.
not gonna fight back.
I'd fist fight with Joe Biden for sure.
It wouldn't be much of a fight.
You never. What if he whoops my ass?
You'd kill him before he hit the floor. You would just.
Holy
He'd
shit.
be out.
You might just. Actually, that might be like negligible that his life was taken on his own fall. Like, I don't think I could be even like committed of that crime. I walked over. I scared him. Breaks a hip, and then all of a sudden a major vein is just bleeding out internally. Oh, poor guy. Never mind. I don't want to talk about it. I don't like him, but so I don't want to hurt the guy.
I remember seeing that video where
unfair.
he fell when he was on a bike.
Which one?
He's on a bike.
Oh, that one. Oh my god.
It's like it wasn't really that bad, but like, could you imagine if the president had to appear with a cast? Like,
Oh.
it's like fucking like 70-something years old on a bike.
His falls are just so.
Like, who put that old man on a bike? Who gave him a bicycle?
I
Like,
feel
those
it's,
fucking
I
idiots.
can't believe he's like just how he falls. It's just like how you're just like
his
nothing was there tripping him.
his foot got caught on the pedal. They were like, yeah, it's like he just didn't pick his foot up high enough and like stumbled, you know, and like he doesn't have balance.
Yeah,
But it's like,
he's
why was he
elderly.
riding a bike in the first place? Like, just to,
They're trying to make him look young.
yeah, they're trying to be like, oh look, he's still
youthful.
healthy, and then he falls.
Just eat
Like,
shit. And he keeps holding on to it. Like, dude, he didn't even like try to break the fall. It's just
It's a good thing, dude. If he put his arm out, it'd be shattered.
okay, fair enough. It's not as youthful anymore. You're right.
I'm glad he just fell.
Jesus.
Like, it's good. Good fall. Good fall. All right, well, I think we've had a pretty good long conversation.
Dude, this is a blast.
Yeah.
I'm never going to come for another one. Obviously I'm sure you have other characters
whenever
come
you're
through.
doing something, whenever you're needing to promote anything, or
Hell yeah.
you got some more fucking UFO stories you want to talk about or some shit.
Show. Well, I got one thing to promote. Head over to Spotify, check out Demonship. I also have a website, demonshipmusic.com.
Absolutely. I'll add those in the description.
Sick.
For the episode. So
awesome. Dude, thank you for having me, man. This has been super awesome. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, dude. It was fun.
For sure, man.
We'll do it again.
For sure.